Hello and welcome to episode 86 of
The Eldritch Podblast.
I am Magwit.
I'm Jack.
And hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. You know what? Every single time I'm like, oh, what can I say that's witty that's not Margaret? And then every single time I forget.
You should say midrat because
no!
that's how that's how everybody in the community knows you.
Last week, I opened with
Yeah.
and everyone was like loving the energy.
Interesting.
Loving the energy.
Miggle rat.
No.
Migzel rat.
No. Any more?
Mig.
No. Definitely not.
What about Mig?
No, I think
What
not.
about? Yeah, but what about Mig?
No, we're not making Mig happen.
I think we should make.
No,
Let's
don't
make
you,
Mig. Let's
oh
make
my
Mig
god,
happen.
don't you dare! Don't. Oh my god,
Jack
no.
and Mig.
Listen, we. It's like Mick, and then I just sound like I like.
Mig.
Yeah, but it sounds like Mick, and it sounds like I'm just like down the pub, doesn't it? Huh?
Mig.
No.
Little Migs.
Not interested in little Migs. Honestly,
Little Miggle.
Not interested in it.
Little Migs.
No, I'm not. I'm not interested.
What about Miggle?
Everyone, ignore him. How we doing?
How we doing?
What we up to?
Apart from watching the podcast.
Oh my god, no! I have an apology. I have an apology.
I also have an apology.
I have a deep apology to make.
Would you like to do your best, Logan Paul?
Yeah, I have made an extreme lapse in my judgment. I do not expect to be forgiven. I didn't ask what you were eating.
You didn't, and people got a little bit upset.
Rightfully so, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely, completely rightfully so.
People were a bit upset.
Yeah, no, and I get
comments.
it. I get it. How many floggings do you think that counts for?
At least a Migsworth.
No, what do you mean?
At least a Migsworth of floggings.
Oh my god, a flogging
now
for
you
me.
can you can decide how many floggings that is.
Yeah, I forgot to ask you what you were eating, and you know what? My deepest apologies. That's earth-shattering. Honestly. And
my earth has been shattered.
To the people who
my Mig has been shattered.
There's so many people like, you didn't ask, but I thought you'd like to know, and I do.
We always want to know,
even
if Margaret doesn't do her due diligence on this podcast.
My due diligence of asking you what you're eating. So here.
What are you
eating?
What are you eating?
What
Tell
are
me
you
what
up
you're
to?
eating.
What time is it for you? Are you eating your brekkie, your lunch, your dinner?
Do you want to know what?
Supper?
I remember when we used to have the old mics, right? And it was like the mics were set up, and that was it. You couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
And like, in a way, it was bad because I had to sit in a specific position.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
But now that I know that I can move them, I move them all the time.
That's all right. That's why they're here, right?
Yeah, but there's so many times where I'm like, it's not perfect.
It'll
never
keep
be
going.
It'll never be perfect.
Yeah,
it'll never be perfect.
No, nothing.
But I wanted it to be a little bit low sexy though. But I wanted to apologize as well.
Oh my god. Oh my. Here we go. Go on. Yeah. Give it to me.
I also want to congratulate you all.
Oh.
Because we did get 100 comments.
We got 100 comments. The dog was so excited about 100 comments, he decided to lick his feet.
But we have gotten 100 comments on the Halloween video, which I thought might end up being the one because of the silly costumes. We've got 100 comments. So do you want to know what? For the time being, I will stop asking. Okay, just wait.
You'll stop hounding.
There's a two-parter to this.
Oh my goodness. There's a compromise to the apology.
There's no compromise. I will stop asking you for 50 to 100 comments.
Oh my god.
More leaning towards the 100. But if I see the comments start dropping off,
you're
gonna get migged.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna mig you.
Oh, come on. What does that mean?
For now, homework is complete. You've got 100 comments.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. But if I see those comments drop off,
a miggin.
It's a miggin.
It's a miggin. You don't want to know what comes with that.
Yeah, only I know.
And nor do I.
Only I truly know what a migging will entail.
For the love of God, please.
Don't get yourself migged.
Don't just don't do it. The bear jacket's back.
Yeah, the long sleeve is back.
It's cold. Has this been washed once since you last saw it? No.
I mean, you wore it that once for that podcast episode.
And I wore it when I'm sat at my computer.
What was that? 20? Like episode 20-ish?
No idea. Quite a long time ago.
And then you didn't wear it all summer, obviously.
Yeah.
And now we're coming back in the winter. You're just putting it back on. So the thing is with like jackets and stuff, they don't really need washing all the time because they're an overlay.
Well, you say that.
They aren't touching your body. I mean, you did spill coffee on it the other day.
I spilt coffee, did I? So every morning we have a ritual. We go Jack makes us the coffees.
No, that's a bit of an understatement.
No, well, Jack,
And my morning ritual.
Yeah. Well, coffees are made. He comes down a little bit before me.
Yeah.
He has like 20 minutes of television time.
Yeah, I'll watch
enrichment time in his pen.
Yeah, I'll watch a little bit of football if there was any football the night before.
Yeah.
I'll watch like World of Warcraft updates, Valorant updates.
Yeah.
I'll just keep myself ahead.
Yeah.
I'll watch any like Dungeons and Dragons videos. Maybe I'll be watching a little bit of Critical Role if I got to a really good point the night before.
Yeah.
So then I'll watch.
I'll come down and ruin your zen.
Yeah.
And the dog, for some reason, he only likes to play with me.
Yeah.
Like, it's like he knows Zen time with his dad is Zen time with his dad.
Yeah, he likes to cuddle with me.
He obviously is allowed. Obviously, he's allowed on the couch. Come on, we're not monsters.
I don't want to
he's
hear
allowed
it.
on the couch.
I don't want to hear it.
He sleeps in our bed. All right, okay.
You can get mig.
So I come down. Dog sees me. He gets up. He's excited. I grab the coffee. We have like a 10-minute play, I would say. I sit down with my coffee. He comes and hugs me.
Yeah.
He is in the habit right now of, do you know when dogs do that thing when they roll on their backs, but it's not just rolling on their backs. They're like trying to itch their back.
They like gator roll onto their back.
Yeah. He's in a habit of doing that on my lap. And he didn't knock my coffee out of my hand once. He did it twice in the same setting. And has it been washed?
No.
Is it crispy?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you going to wash it?
Is it? No.
Why not?
Listen, when you wash things, they get weird, don't they? No, I'm not. So, oh no, what were you saying? We had to clap out because the
dog he was like, "Oh, you're recording a podcast."
Oh, you're talking about me? Yeah. No, I'm not gonna wash it because things get weird when you wash them.
Things like that get weird when you wash them.
Exactly.
Things that are like fluffy and textured, they can just go a little bit flat.
Yeah, unless anyone anyone has some tips on how I can wash this thing.
You could probably cold wash it. You could probably wash it on 30 at 30.
Yeah, but when you wash things on 30 at 30, sometimes they end up stinking when they don't dry properly.
Don't.
When they don't dry properly.
No, they don't. They don't.
They do.
They don't.
We found some rusty nails in our washing machine the other day.
I think actually doing it on a higher.
You ignoring the rusty nail comments. We found
I don't know where they came from.
You know how there's like a rim in your washing machine?
Like the plastic rim.
We it's dirty. let me preface that. So I was wiping it out and there was like a little plastic bag in there and I picked it up thinking it was like a dog poo bag or something because obviously Jack always has them in his pockets. But there was something in it. So we emptied it out into the sink. It was just a bunch of rusty nails.
So it's obviously I've been doing something.
You've been doing some DIY.
I've been doing some DIY and I put like a pocket, like a little bag of nails.
Screws in your back.
Screws or something and put it in my pocket and then just wash the thing.
They were disgusting. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
How did we get on at that conversation?
I don't know.
We were talking about enrichment time in my pen.
Enrichment time in your pen.
Yeah,
we're talking about this being really crispy now.
Yeah, but it's not crispy. It's just that one bit on the lapel area. Oh,
look at how cute it is.
She's the Mig Bear.
Why do you have to say things like that?
Mig Bear.
Why'd you have to ruin something nice like that?
What do you mean ruin?
Yeah.
I think it's the new thing.
Right.
You know how you didn't like Squad Blasters?
Yeah. That was a character development arc though, Jack.
Yeah. This is a character.
You're not calling me Mig. You're not calling me Mig. I don't care what anyone says. You're not calling me Mig.
Mig in the comments.
Anyway, we got some stuff to get through. Getting off that topic. Before we do, we have received your comments about how you would like the campaign updates to go. Yes. Don't worry. We won't put it behind a Patreon. We were kind of surprised at the amount of people who were like, yeah, we would actually like to hear them.
Yeah. I mean, because everybody really enjoyed them.
Well, true, yeah. But, like after the fact, it's nice to hear that people
when they've gone away. But it's nice, isn't it? It's like a seasonal thing.
Yeah, it is like a seasonal thing.
There's some downtime in between the campaign updates. So then you get excited for the new campaign updates. Oh, God, yeah, we need to talk about...
Yeah. So we're going to be still doing campaign updates. We still can't really say what the format is going to be of them. However... from what we think is going to be happening, there's going to be an extra video. We don't know if it's weekly or monthly yet. That is going to have just the recap in.
I think it'll probably be weekly.
Yeah, I think
it
will be
that's
weekly.
Subject to change.
And that will probably be like a shorter video, anywhere between like half an hour to I don't know,
20 minutes to half an hour, something like that.
Yeah,
it'll be just like us talking about the campaign.
Yeah. And that will be a separate video uploaded. Thank you so much to everyone who was like, I don't want to burden you with extra work and I don't want to stress you out and I know you're busy. So like, don't feel like you have to do something extra. To
But if you did, I would love it.
Yeah, so thank you so much for thinking about us. That's really kind of you.
That's very considerate of you.
It really is. And to put your minds at ease, it won't be extra work. At that point, we'll stop being cryptic when we can be.
Yeah, there's potentially going to be something new content-wise for the Eldritch Podblast where we're going to talk about it. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hold your horses. Hold them.
Get them hold. Hold your migs.
So, what would you like to do first? Shall we do your campaign update first, or shall we roll the next challenge?
What do you want to do first?
How about we do your campaign update first?
Okay.
So, Jack ran a one-shot for his brother.
Yes.
On Wednesday, for days ago for you.
Just a couple of days ago for us, and about a week ago for you.
Yeah.
So I saw him at my birthday meal, and I was like, "Do you want to play Dungeons and Dragons?" Because he's expressed interest in playing before, because he knows I'm interested in it, so he wanted to like see what it was all about. And I was just like, "Do you want to do it?" And he was like, "Yes." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna run a one shot then, and you can come in, be a character. It'll be a contained adventure. It'll start, it'll end, and there'll be like a definitive ending."
Yeah.
Obviously, because he doesn't have a clue what one shot means.
Yeah, of course.
And it's okay, we can swear now.
Okay. Could you make a timestamp of us talking about this? For my sake. Thank you. I'm trying to get better with timestamps. I make no promises, but I'm really, really trying to be not perfect, but definitely better with the timestamps. So sorry, carry on.
Yeah, no problem. So I said to all of you, make a character, and we're going to be doing a one shot.
Yep.
And then I told you the week before, it will actually be the precursor for my campaign setting.
Yeah.
So my campaign setting, all they knew was there is a grandiose city, like almost like London, which spans like many different townships and glens, like a massive city. And it's like a religious mecca, it's a cultural mecca, it's like the place where only the most devout or the richest live. And that city has fallen for some reason.
Yeah.
And nobody lives there anymore. Everybody had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And in the campaign, it's going to be you're a task team who are going to go back in and try to take back the city. And that's all you knew. And then you found out that this was a precursor to that.
To that.
This was where the city fell.
And we had assumed we were going to see, or at least have a glimpse into what happened. And boy, did we.
Yeah, so they were in a small little town.
Yep.
And they were the guards of the town.
Yep, Hemwick.
They were the first line of defense for the great city that they could see across a bridge and like about half a day's travel away. And they were just guards, you know. It wasn't a particularly busy job. But
kind of like in training in the barracks.
Some of you were in training. Some of you were slightly more
adept.
Yeah. But there was a storm coming. It looked like.
Yeah.
So you were like preparing for battening down the hatches. The sky had turned grey.
Yep. Well, first of all, what everyone played. So
yeah,
I played a Swordsbard 4 Hexblade Warlock 1.
Of course, it had to have some sort of Hexblade in there.
It was incredibly fun.
It was. Yes.
Daniel, your brother, played a Vengeance Paladin.
Yes, he did.
Abby played a
Zealot Barbarian.
Matthew played a
monk.
I don't know what
Mercy monk.
Oh, it was a mercy monk. Yes, and then Josh played a wild magic sorcerer. So it was honestly a good mix. It was
a really good mix. We had two tankies.
Yep.
2 DPSs.
Yep.
And then spellcaster in the back.
Yeah. It was a good mix.
It was a good mix. Yeah, it was really good. Do you want to go for it?
Go for what?
Just explain what happened.
Oh well, yeah. Like so, it's one of these things where. Because obviously Dan has never played D&D before, I think you wanted to make sure he had an all-encompassing experience for his first time, right? But there's only so much you can do in the space of, 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah.
So we started off, we did the typical introducing everyone's characters. Yeah. By the way, Dan, the thing I want to say overall, Dan did an amazing job.
Yeah, he did.
It's hard when you bring someone into D&D who kind of doesn't know anything about it, and you never know how they're going to react, especially in a group of, I would say, well-seasoned players,
established group as well,
and well-seasoned role players too.
Yeah.
You never know. Do you remember that thing we read ages ago, where it was like unpopular opinions, and it's like D&D is just uncanny as fuck, and they're like so weird. I was personally worried that your brother was going to feel like that. from what I can tell, he didn't at all.
No.
He dived in head first.
Yeah, he did.
I
went round his house the day before and we sat and like built his character, got all the numbers down, got all the complicated stuff down.
Yeah, we did like a mini situation between like you DMing it and me and him.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, we're like breaking into a castle. We're halfway through the break-in. You get to the last room. There's a door with 2 guards in front of it. And you know the treasure's on the other side. Like, how do you get in? And we just like played out this scenario that went on and on and on and on and on. And he began to like, you could see the moment where he was like, okay, so is there this? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, well, I grab this and I go into the room and I do this and there's guards in there. Oh, and then I start to make a distraction. And he just like, you could see the cogs beginning to turn.
Totally.
That like, if he asked, I would, if it was in the realm of possibility, I would just ask him for a roll.
Yeah, totally. So he did an amazing job. That's kind of the first thing I want to say. There's more to that, but he did an amazing job. So yeah, we introduced all of our characters. We had a little chit chat. We had like a little gambling game.
Yeah, it's pretty quiet in terms of like the guards here.
Yeah, not much really going on.
So they were just playing a bit of gambling.
Yeah, and I feel like that was a nice way to introduce Dan to like the silly side of things.
Yeah.
And then the storm came, and you described it as like this, like the sky was basically black, right?
You were all running around like boarding up some windows and telling people to get inside.
Yeah,
and things like that.
It was just simple stuff, like typical. It looked like it was a bad storm, but like nothing really out of the ordinary. And there was an NPC called Chet with us.
Yeah, he was the trainee.
He was the trainee, and he was just a fun little guy. And we were all ready to go back inside because the weather was turning. And you describe it as the sky like takes a turn and it becomes black, and it's like the clouds are roiling, and then there's this giant black void that opens up in the sky. We have met Father Augustine, who's kind of like the priest of the church here, and he's fucking screaming Bloody Mary. He's telling everyone to get into the church. The bells are ringing. And you describe it as this huge obsidian fiery comet falls from the void and impacts onto our barracks.
Well, so it's like starts to make a vortex, and then the vortex like sort of spins so fast that it opens up in the center, and you see like one huge comet and like other little shards of comets, like differing in size, heading towards the great city.
Because we can easily see the city from here.
You see them all like begin to like smash into the city and impact, and like people begin to like run out the front gates. It's very far away, so to you they look like ants. But then one shard breaks off and begins to like veer course, and as it does, you're so like focused on the city, you don't realize that it's heading straight for
us,
Hemwick. Yeah. And it smashes into your barracks and destroys it, and you all get like leveled. You're all like pushed back off your feet, concussed. Got like tinnitus in your ears.
Yeah.
There's like dust covering the sky. It's almost impossible to see just in front of you.
Yeah, it's like feigning like a fog because it's so dusty, right? And it's the weather's so bad. And we all managed to find each other after the impact, and we find Chep, and we can barely see him through this fog. And you describe it as like he's very confused, he's very shaken up, and behind him we see this big obsidian stone. And it looks like... Do the noise.
What? This?
Yeah.
So I said that as you all see Chep, like behind Chep is the large like obsidian stone that's just fallen out of the sky and destroyed your barracks and left a huge crater underneath it. You can see like 25 feet of this shard of obsidian above ground, and then whatever is left beneath the ground. And then as you watch it, and as Chep like stands up and he's really close to it, you begin to see like the sides of it like slaw off as it's like as they just like begin to like slip off the side into the crater.
Yeah.
You see like Chep look down into the crater, and he turns back to you all, and you're all like screaming for him to run.
Yeah.
And he looks back to you all, and he's like caught in between two minds because he can see something in the hole.
Yeah.
And he turns back to you. And there's a religion, there's like the overarching religion that is in the great city. And because you're so close by proximity here, it's called the religion of the Ashen Heart. And he turns to you and he says, "For the Ashen Heart." He pulls out this sword that's far too big for him. Something jumps out the hole towards him, and he slices it in two. But as he like leaves himself, from his great sword swing, he leaves himself open. Something like climbs up him and attaches onto his head.
Yeah.
As like some more of that soot like fills that space. he becomes a little bit more obscured, and things begin to like slither out of the hole and towards you and the rest of the town.
Yeah, and that was the first combat.
We
had to fight these weird, like, face hugger adjacent things, right? But they weren't just face huggers. They were like weird, tentacly, like nasty little guys. And when they attached to someone's head, it wasn't just like they attached to someone's head. They like enveloped the whole person's head like down to the neck. Yes. And it was disgusting.
So if they hit, they were able to like get onto the body.
Yeah.
And if they got onto the body, they could make a bonus action attack. You would take some damage, but you would make a strength saving throw. Yeah. And if you failed the strength saving throw, they'd try and attach to your head.
Yeah.
If they reduce you to 0 hit points in that hit, they would basically... does anyone remember Dragon Ball Z, the Cell saga? Do you remember Cell? Is it Cell where he like with the tail, he like consumes people with the tail? I think it's Cell. It was like the mouth would open up and all the tentacles. They were like thick slugs. The tentacles would open up. You would see the mouth and it would like go onto the head.
Yeah, disgusting.
The whole head.
Absolutely terrible.
And
yucky.
The tentacles, like the little tentacles that come off the front of the mouth, they would then attach into the neck.
Yeah.
And into like the shoulders and into the body.
Disgusting.
You would see the body begin to just like thin.
Yeah.
And become emaciated as this thing was like sucking, and it would take them over and they would become quite dangerous.
Yeah.
Because they were dangerous themselves, but if they'd got hold of any town members,
we had to fight Shep. We put Shep out of his misery, to be fair.
Yeah,
and it was very sad. But that was kind of like the first combat, right? Everyone got to like flex their new skills, got to grips with what you could do in combat, etc., etc.
It was just basically just a smashy combat. Which I wanted Dan to experience.
Definitely, which was great. And there was a couple of dodgy moments. But we were fine. So then we took sanctuary in the church.
Yeah, the bell started to ring as Father Augustine began to shout sanctuary. Everybody get in the church. As everybody like sprinted. Some people were getting taken out by more of these nasty slug parasite things. As everybody like got in, and like Dan and Abby is like the strength based build.
The strong ones.
Were like holding the door as people were like trying to barricade it.
Yeah.
And people were barricading up the windows. One smashed through. But then it was sort of like you barricaded it and there was a tiny bit of downtime.
Yeah, there was like, after all of that, and it was, well, fuck, what do we do now? So we're in Father Augustine's church, and he's obviously shaken up, but everyone's freaking out. And Father Augustine kind of takes to what's the word? I don't know. The church, like the thing that the priest stands at, the wooden altar. What's it called? There's definitely a word for it. And I think we were like, oh, it's this, and it certainly wasn't. Anyway, he goes and he stands at that thing to address everyone in there, because it's a very religious town, right? Like, I feel like the whole area is very religious, specifically our town.
Yes, well, the whole land is religious. Very religious.
So he speaks, people listen, and he's wigging out. Right,
he's wigging out.
He's
big
wigging
time.
out, and
he's freaking out.
He's like being like, "Oh, the sacrifice wasn't enough," and we learn at this point that at the end of every calendar year, kind of similar to the Mayan calendar, at the end of every calendar.
So there's like a calendar.
Yeah,
like the Mayan calendar that ended at 2012.
Yeah.
2012. Yeah. There has to be a sacrifice made to bring in a new era.
Yes, exactly.
And, sacrifice was made. It was
Alejandra.
Yeah, and obviously I don't listen to Lady Gaga, and I said the word Alejandra, and
all of us
Matthew and Abby were like,
and I mean me too,
and I was like, what are you laughing
at? You're like, what's funny about that?
What's funny about that?
Jack doesn't understand the zeitgeist that is Alejandro.
Yes, I know now. I may change. If that's what it does to everyone every time I say it. I had to think of some names for the one shot that I may change eventually.
Yeah, of course. But, he's wigging out.
He's wigging out. He's saying...
He's like, Alejandra's sacrifice wasn't enough. And he's like, and if her sacrifice wasn't enough, then our sacrifice isn't enough.
My sacrifice isn't enough. And he points out to the crowd and he's like, none of your sacrifices will ever be enough.
Yeah, and he's like, well, we might as well just take down the barricades.
He said, this is the end.
So we're all like, what the fuck? So Maria, my bad, goes up and she just gives him a backhand. She just backhands him. Yeah, she just smacks him because he's like, he's in a frenzy, for lack of a better word. Kind of calms him down, and she's like, shut up.
Yeah.
We need to work together now. We have lost too many people. You need to get a grip. And he's like, you're right, Soz.
And Abby and Dan as the muscle. Are like, don't you dare take down like the barricades.
Yeah.
And then Dan goes and stands in front of the door and he says, and if you want to take down the barricades, you got to go through me.
And he gets his hammer out.
Yep. And
cool
so
moment.
In typical Matthew fashion, at this moment, he's like, right, well, I'm gonna go. The bell tower was ringing and stuff like that, and he's like, I'm gonna go up to the bell tower and see if I can like look around,
scout the area.
As he says that, I say, everybody else make a perception check, and Matthew goes up and he has a little look. And I say to everybody else...
Because we were desperate for a short rest.
Yeah, so you're having a short rest. You completely short rest. It's totally fine. And I said, you all remember that you came in here and the bell was ringing. But the bell has stopped ringing. But nobody has come downstairs. And that's when Matthew was upstairs. And I say, Matthew, you see like a bunch of these like things attached onto people's heads, like walking around, and some of that haven't found a host yet and they're just mooching around. And I was like, but you also see, because you rolled a natural 20, across the other side of the bell tower is one of these things with a thing on its head just staring at you.
Yeah.
And they rolled initiative off and tried to like have a little fight. As you all made your way up, more things climbed onto the top, and there was another little fight upstairs that was quite easily dismantled.
We managed to take care of that because Josh rolled a chaos bolt and it bounced like 4 times and he got 2 natural 20s.
Yeah.
So he absolutely annihilated. He absolutely annihilated the thing. So we just kind of sweep up after him.
That spell's absolutely fine, but the thing is, Josh doesn't roll natural 20s until he casts chaos bolt.
Yep.
And as soon as he casts chaos bolt, he rolls the same number on the d8 and then he rolls a natural 20. So it bounces and does double damage. So he just basically cast 3 chaos bolts at 3 different things at the exact same time and all did natural 20s.
Yep. It was pretty fucking awesome. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty cool.
Just so you understand, as a dungeon master, like, people always like ask like about balance and things like that. There's no way you can balance that.
You just got to let him die.
There's no way on earth you can balance that. There's just no way.
Yep. So, and when we're up there, you say that we notice where the obsidian rock had fallen. Pretty much everything had began to fall away from it with those like slooping noises.
Yeah.
And there was kind of like a humanoid figure
left inside.
Yeah, to which your brother was like, humanoid.
Humanoid? And by humanoid, I mean it's got a head, 2 legs, and two arms in the position that you would think a human would have.
I feel like that kind of vocabulary is what we're used to just as D&D players. Do you know what I mean? But he was like, humanoid.
Humanoid? Doesn't sound very humanoid to me.
You described it as, there's this hulking beast, and it's like one arm is like a normal, like bony, creepy arm. The other arm is like massive and huge and covered in fur, and then like the whole body is covered in fur, and it's like emaciated, and it's got this like nasty matted black fur over its chest, and it's like so thin and so concaved. You see the ribs, and it goes straight into the back of the spine because it's so
you see like the muscle
looking.
like that encompasses the spine, but that's about it. And it goes down to these 2 like really powerful looking legs that bend down, and then there's like horns coming off the side with this like carapace like head. It's like there's almost like really hard skull rock like material that goes into these 2 horns.
Do you have the image of it?
Yeah, I do. And for most people who've played Bloodborne will understand that is the cleric beast.
Yeah, here I'll put the picture in.
Okay,
this is the cleric beast. So we see this motherfucker, and
the other things are brain suckers from Bloodborne as well.
So you're getting a really good theme of what this is looking like, right?
Yeah,
so,
Eldritch Horror.
Yeah, and it is laser focused on the main city, and it's heading towards the bridge.
Yes.
As we're watching this in horror, because a lot of our families live in the city, and
obviously, and like, the religion that you love and you would die for is there as well. It's the home of it.
And Father
Augustine
comes up behind us, and he's like, "Well, you know what you have to do," and we're like, yeah, but how? And he's like, we remember that there's like a mechanism at the other end of the bridge.
I make everyone roll history checks, and you remember during your training to be a guard that there is a arcane bomb on the other side.
Yes.
To blow the bridge
in case.
Just in case, in case there was any sieges upon the city.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly what this moment is led for.
So all of us, in horror are like, well, listen, if we stay here, we're going to die anyway. If we stay in this church, it can only hold for so long. We can die fighting these little things, or we can at least try to save as many people as we can in the city. So we all commit to the bit, and we're like, yeah, all right, we'll try. And Maria turns to him and she's like, if you live through this, please make sure people remember our names. And she gave him a list verbally of everyone's
first
and last names. Because Maria would know that, Margaret doesn't, but Maria would. And we set off, we leave.
Yeah. This thing's made a decent amount of headway. Yeah,
so we're obviously all theorizing on how we can get there, etc. There's a lot of we could Misty Step, we could do this, that. For the sake of brevity, we end up managing to circumvent. We have a plan. We'll ring the bell when we get to the floor. Bring all
the little creatures in.
Bring the little shitters towards us.
Try and get over them.
We try to get over them.
Successfully.
We do. And we get to the bridge.
Yeah.
And you have a map for the bridge, and there's a lower level where we can locate the bomb at the other end. So me and Matthew, who we called Big Blue, we go under because he's the fastest, and I don't know why I went, because I had Misty Step, I don't know. And we thought, I
think it was because you could get under the bridge quite well.
Yeah, and
because it was a tough check to get underneath the bridge.
And we left, obviously, the two strong ones up at the top to try and tank this thing.
Yeah.
Their plan was try keep him on the bridge, and we were going to try blow it from beneath.
Yes.
I mean, some things to note. Obviously, there was a combat. Some things to note. Josh cast. He was playing a Heron, and his name was Care. But we called him Care Bear, and he cast Nalthair's Mischief.
Yeah.
And made the scent of apple pie.
But it was so slow, it never actually fully reached the combat.
If you've ever had a spiritual weapon and
it's a moving combat, and you realise that it can only move 20 feet.
You know exactly what it's like. But imagine that with just a square of apple pie scent. It was so
that can only move 10 feet.
It was so funny.
But, so basically, this thing was moving, and it had a screech attack, and if you failed the screech, you took a heavy amount of psychic damage, and you would also be dominated. So the two people who made their first moves up were Dan, my brother, and underneath was Matthew.
Yep.
It let out a screech, both dominated.
Both dominated.
So they both turn around, run back to the party.
Dan had the idea. He was like, you said the only thing you're tasked with here is making sure they don't get to the bomb. Right? Or they don't get over the bridge.
They don't get to the beast because the beast just wanted to get over the bridge.
They don't get to the beast.
It was like basically, don't slow me down. Dan casts command on Josh.
Fails
to betray Lila. So the three people on top of the bridge.
So they're all scrapping.
He's casting fucking firebolts on Lila. And then Lila walks up to Dan, smacks him, knocks him out of it.
She manages to knock him out with it.
You manage to smack after Matthew comes up and begins to beat you up.
Because again, there's this thing where he was amongst you at Step of the Wind. He got way further away from me.
And then had to just backtrack all of that.
He had to come back to me. And the thing is, in game, Maria had no idea that he was dominated. So
until he started beating you up.
I just used my whole turn to keep moving towards him.
Yeah.
And then, I managed to smack him out of it, and it's fine.
Mm.
So they're kind of dealing with the beast up there.
Yeah, they get its attention. It stops moving. It's really far ahead. They close the ground. Josh tidal wave knocks it over, so it doesn't start moving. And then we get to the point where we get to the bomb. And it's you two. And you remember that the only two who knew anything about the bomb were Dan and Abby.
Yeah.
Because they rolled the successful history checks.
So we knew
they're
nothing.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
So...
And there was two parts to the bomb. There was... opening the lock on the bomb,
disarming the trap, or like unlocking the box,
and then arming the bomb inside, which required intelligence checks.
Which,
everyone dumped intelligence. I was running at a -1. Matthew was at a 0. So he tried.
And they also knew nothing about the bomb.
Yeah, nothing. So there was no way we could communicate.
Nope.
I had message, but that was like my action's worth of shit, right? So Matthew tries and he fails and he gets absolutely blasted into oblivion.
He gets a nasty shock and becomes paralyzed.
Yeah.
This beast, because when I forgot to mention the whole thing, is like when these thing brain suckers like got on your head, it would feel like it was feeding information back to the obsidian shard, which Matthew was the one that realized. And when this thing shrieked, it like also was gaining knowledge.
Yeah,
it was intrusive into your mind.
Yeah.
So obviously it knew Matthew was going for the bomb. When it heard footsteps near the bomb, it just shattered the bridge. Everybody jumped down to the bottom level, and it just started wailing on Matthew. And he was paralyzed.
It was awful. And at this point, we are like, oh my God, well, this is make or break. And I was next in the initiative, and I was like, I'm not going to succeed.
You were after the beast, and the beast
absolutely wailed on Matthew.
Yeah, that was its legendary action.
Yeah, absolutely wailed on him.
The beast, on its turn, gets its shriek back.
Oh my god!
It shrieks. Everyone's got the disadvantage.
No. This is actually this is before arming the bomb, disarming the trap.
Oh yes, yeah.
So none of that has happened yet, and I'm next. I'm the only one down there who could possibly try open this box. Yes, because
Matthew's unconscious currently,
and I have -1. So I'm like racking my brain. I'm looking through my spells. I took knock.
You did take knock.
I took knock.
You did.
And listen, I'm not a spellcaster. I've never properly played a spellcaster. And I saw it and I was like, maybe we need to get into a door somewhere at some point in the one shot. So I took it. And I don't want to big myself up here, but thank God we had that.
Oh my God, yeah. 100%.
So
you didn't have a rogue.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a massively high DC, but Matthew just rolled really bad.
Yeah.
With advantage.
Yeah. So I disarmed it for 10 minutes, as per the spell.
Yeah.
And then the beast comes down. Then everyone else is down here.
Yeah.
Then the beast shrieks.
And everybody use the disadvantages who's got it up. So everyone fails but Margaret.
So
everyone is dominated looking at Margaret.
It is a terrible, awful situation.
And it's her next.
And it's me next.
Yeah.
Thank God, by the way. Because I wouldn't have been able to survive everyone wailing on me.
Mm-hmm.
I was a Summer Eladrin.
Yes.
I took the ability, so when I phase step, anything that's within 5 feet of me takes four fire damage.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, can I try face step on top of the box?
Yeah.
Very benevolent DM let me face step on top of the box.
It was like the box took up 2 spaces. It was fine to be in a space or near a space.
Yeah. And when I did so, I was like, can I please do damage to both Dan
and Matthew mm-hmm.
to try and knock them out of this? Because damaging them was how you got it out.
Yeah.
And thank God, because Dan snapped out of it.
Matthew didn't, but it was Dan
next. And he had a 0. No, he had a -1.
He had a -1 in intelligence.
Yeah. So
he was one of 2 people who knew anything about the bomb.
Yeah. So I used my action because I could have I was going to bardically inspire him, but I couldn't because I used my bonus action. I forego my action to give him advantage on the check.
Action. So this is the moment. Everyone's looking really low. Most of the party is dominated. Everyone's probably going to go down this round. It's all on this one roll to arm the bomb and blow up the bridge so the beast doesn't get to the city. And it's up to my brother, who's never played Dungeons and Dragons before.
Has a -1 in intelligence.
Who's got a -1 in intelligence, who needs to succeed on a 17 DC intelligence check.
He rolls the first dice.
He rolls the first dice.
It's a natural 1.
It's a 1.
He rolls the second dice. It's an 18!
It's an 18.
It's an 18!
Ooh, my ears.
It's an 18!
It's an 18 with a -1, which is exactly what he needed.
Exactly
what
he needed.
The bomb goes off. The beast is destroyed. Sadly, so is the rest of the party.
Yeah, we have a moment to have our final words, but you know that moment? I yelled very loudly there.
Yes.
Imagine all 6 of us.
Yes, nerd screaming.
Oh my God, it was nerd screaming. Your brother included, by the way.
Oh yeah. He was like
nerd screaming.
It was like celebrating, and it was just like obviously it was nice for him to succeed the history check earlier.
Of course.
So he had a chance to disarm the bomb. Other people had a chance, but it was a higher DC.
Yeah.
But it was just the most Dungeons and Dragons thing.
Serendipity, wasn't it?
Him to play for his first time, to succeed that history check. He
had rolled like shit through the whole game.
To save after you had hit him, to then get advantage, to roll a 1 and then roll exactly what he needed. To end the whole thing with a victory.
Yeah.
It was just the most Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my God,
thing.
It was amazing. There was screaming, there was standing up, there was holding each other.
Yeah.
And he did it. And then you were like, well, this is all your final moments.
Yes.
Is there anything you like to say to each other in your final moments? And we were so high on adrenaline. And it was just me who could talk to him because everyone else was dominated.
No, I said the dominated dropped. I said the dominated drops in that moment as the beast realizes it's about it.
I took his hand and I wanted to say for Chep, but I couldn't remember his name. So I was like, for Cliff.
For Cliff.
For Craig.
For Craig.
And all of us are screaming, and it was just a great moment.
It was a great moment. And that was the most Dungeons & Dragons moment of all time, and my brother got to experience it.
Yep.
And at the end, it was like, it was better than I thought it was ever going to be.
Yeah, and you know what? It helps. It's so weird because not in the D&D sphere, I don't think he realizes how much of an incredible DM you are because he has no other frame of reference, okay? Like, I don't think he realizes how incredibly good we have it with you as the DM because you're an amazing DM.
Thank you.
Like, you are like an earth-changing DM.
I don't know if I'm earth-changing.
No, you are. For people who have played the game before, if they played with you, and, you know, obviously every table's different, but if they played with you, I think people would realize, oh my God, this is top tier D&D. You know what I mean? And hey, I'm biased because I'm his fiance. Of course I am. But I don't think he realizes just how good he had it with you. But he said he really enjoyed it.
He did. He said he really enjoyed it. And Matthew said something really nice as well. Matthew was like, he's like, obviously because I'm there the whole session and it ends like that. He was like, it's almost as if you planned it. He said, but there's just no way you can. It. Because, you know, a lot of the times I make up DCs like on the fly, like taking everything into account because I'm confident to do that. So, like, I wanted to be high DC for Dan to disarm the bomb because I didn't want to just feel like it was a gimme.
Yes.
And with the -1, you know, and like,
it felt amazing.
You'd given him advantage.
Felt amazing.
It was just the most, like, crazy moment, which was brilliant and beautiful. And I loved it. And I'm so glad that was my brother's first experience for Dungeons & Dragons. Because I think it, like Margaret said at the beginning, I almost wanted it to be a little bit of everything. There was like, I knew there was going to be roleplay because my party cannot resist.
Yep.
I wanted them, you know, to have the silly, goofy, like gambling bit at the beginning.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of fun that was like sort of low stakes rolls. The combat where you could smash stuff, the skill check of being in the church and like calming people down and boarding up the windows and getting out of the church. That was like the skill check challenge bit. Yeah. And then there was the combat that had the second objective. Like, I wanted him to just feel a bit of everything. And at the end, I asked him, like, what he really liked. And he was like, the making up the plan on the fly when things didn't go wrong in the last combat was great because it was, like, thinking and talking to each other about what we were supposed to do. Yeah. But also, like, knowing that at any moment it could fail if we didn't roll the dice right. And I was like, welcome to Dungeons & Dragons.
Which is also my favorite part of it, right? My favorite part is when you make a plan, it fails, you make another plan, that fails, and you're desperate, and you really have no other choice but to try something.
Try the thing.
Yeah, and it felt really good. So it was an amazing thing. And I'm sorry, we've been talking for 40 minutes now. And this is what it would be like if we did campaign updates in the video again, which you don't want.
So you do want, so that's why we're just going to do a different... there's going to be a separate video.
Yeah, just a separate one.
But yeah, so that is my campaign.
Very
setting.
Cool.
Something, for some reason, has fallen from the sky and desperately wants to get into the city. Yeah. And they're all nasty and weird. And they now have the city and you need to get it back.
Yeah, and your themes are very clear. And I love the theme. I love, like, the gothic, like, eldritch, like... vibe of all of it. I love it. I'm very excited. And am I considering changing Blythe from a Vengeance Paladin to a Swords Bard? Yes, I am. Is that possible considering I've already booked commissions in and she looks a certain way? I don't know. But listen,
Margaret
I am considering
really enjoyed the Swords Bard, and I think you played it really well.
Oh, thank you.
The damage is good, you know. Like,
damage is fine
because of the hex blades. You get the rapier plus the dexterity, which is nice. Because of the fighting style, you get to make the bonus action attack. Yep. Because you're level 4, you were level 4. You didn't have 3rd level spells, but being able to cast like all of these like knock and like other bits that you were able to do, you were just really versatile. And I've always said to Margaret, you should probably play Gish because you like having the spell slots, don't like being the healer, but also love being a martial. And I'm like, that's why Bladesing is amazing. And Swords Bard is also great. Yeah. So,
and, you know, damage-wise, definitely not as much damage as a Vengeance Paladin would be.
Nowhere near.
Not even close. In fact, it would probably be the weakest DPS I will play.
But the fact that it can still dish out good DPS and also be so versatile with spells is why Gishes is so great.
Yeah, I really loved being able to do that. And, you know, charisma, jack of all trades, expertise. Yeah. Like, it I feel like it scratches all the itches. And the reason I say I don't like spellcasters is I've played one spellcaster who was Willow, my druid.
Yeah.
And she was the healer.
Yes.
So I didn't really get to experience too much of the actual spellcasting side. And I was always like, man, I'm so bad at managing my resources. This feels really fucking bad because obviously you have to use your healing spells to heal people. And it felt terrible. But that didn't. That felt really good.
Mm-hmm.
That felt really nice.
I think you really enjoyed it, didn't you?
I did.
Good.
So I'm going to...
You played it really well. I would definitely say that Mag was the MVP of the session.
Thank you so much.
Like, I know my brother got the last roll and stuff like that, but casting knock...
Yeah,
like,
that was it. And that was just pure luck, by the way,
and
that
then,
I put that spell on.
Then knocking Dan out of it,
yeah.
And then giving him advantage on the roll to be able to get that last roll. I think, like, there was just some very clever, good moves there.
Thank you so much.
And
that's the cleverest I think I've ever been. Let me be honest with you.
Yeah.
Cleverest I've been.
But you were able to do it because of the versatility of the class, I think.
Yeah. So am I going to convert Blythe? I don't know. I'm going to have to build them all out and see. Anyway.
We need to roll a homebrew challenge.
Yeah. Oh my God. We need to roll a homebrew challenge.
Let's just get it.
Let's get this done quickly.
Just get this done.
It's over. Oh, right. Don't look at me, Jack. Fill the silence while I turn around.
Bloody, 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 blah, bloody, 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 blah. Ooh-doo-doo-doo-doo. I love this podcast. I love being on this podcast. Ooh, ooh. Margaret, hurry up, man. How much time did it feel?
Ow.
To feel? How much time did it feel?
Too much. All right, so...
I do be feeling time, though.
This next homebrew challenge, this is number 13, and it's going to span through 16, and this is the Christmas one. I took a look at when these are going to end, and the last winner is going to be read out the 28th of December, which I think is just wonderful timing. So... Spooky's gone. Spooky's
old news, man. Who cares about Spooky?
News. Me, I still care. But Spooky's over. The winners of that are going to be read on Thursday's episode. And for this theme, for Christmas, we've made the theme festive. Yay!
Festive joy and light and happiness.
And so that can mean whatever you want it to mean.
Whatever you want. It has to just be like festive themed.
Yeah, festive. You know, like, do you want to lean into like the whole Christmas thing? Go ahead. Is there something else you have in mind? Go ahead.
Is Christmas evil in your world?
Oh my God.
Totally fine. Is Christmas just a holiday where people do a certain thing?
Yeah, is that God's associated with it?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's a lot
Matthew
you
called
could do with festive.
Matthew called Christmas Crystal Snats.
Crystal Nacht, and there was Santa.
Santa and Crystal Nats.
So, if you don't know what the Homebrew Challenge is, we put up challenges every other week
in the Discord.
You can enter via the Discord, and you basically create whatever we roll on this table.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the table.
I've already put it in.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Shall we just roll?
Yeah, let's roll.
Just to get it done.
It's
me. It's my turn to roll. It's me.
Why?
Because you rolled twice. Because I was in my Gandalf outfit and I couldn't bring myself to roll anything.
Are we just opening everything up again?
Yeah. Well, we won't do what the ones have been already. But...
And that was. Feet.
Oh, God.
That
feet.
was
BBEG and a monster.
Okay.
All right.
So you can't roll a 19, an 18, or a 14.
Oh, actually, should we just open it up?
Nah, let's just not do those.
All right. Here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Kiss it.
I want to see my mum was.
Kiss it.
My mum was in the watch party. My mum was in the chat down below. Give a kiss.
Thank you.
Very
All
good.
Right. It's a 17.
Oh, it's a festive spell.
Oh, it's a festive spell.
That's very festive.
Oh.
Are you going to be sprinkling joy upon all your friends?
Oh.
Is it going to... What do you mean, no? Why are you going to make everything weird? Why are you going to make everything sexy and weird?
That's just who I am.
Does your spell force people to enjoy Christmas? Does it force them to smile on Christmas Day?
Does it force them not to enjoy it? Does it force them to...
Does it conjure presents?
Does it conjure food?
Presents.
Oh.
Well, we already have conjure food and water.
Does it conjure mince
Christmas
pies?
Cookies?
Yeah.
Christmas cookies and mince pies. And reindeer.
Yeah.
Summon reindeer.
Does it turn houses into gingerbread houses?
Does it? Imagine.
I know.
I paid good money for this house and now it's
crumbling in the rain.
Do you get fined reindeer instead of fined Steve? Give me your festive spells.
Yeah, you have exactly 1 week. It ends on Monday the 20th of November, which is my birthday, by the way.
And there better be some happy birthdays on that day.
No, that doesn't have to be.
There has to be. No, there has to be. There has to be.
It doesn't have to
there has
be
to
at
be.
all.
Listen to me.
Yeah, so there you go. You have a week. Enter via our Discord. The link is below.
And I'm so excited to see.
Spell. Oh, I'm excited to see a festive spell. I think it's
our first spell.
Yeah, that is our first spell.
Yeah,
it is.
You know, like, you can go as in depth as you want. You can give it verbal, somatic components. You can give it range, action, economy, what type of damage it does, if it does any damage, what type of school of magic it wants to. If you can't be asked with any of that, just tell them what spell does.
Yes, we will put a template. It's completely optional. You can format it however you want. But it's a template if you don't want to have to think of that yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The Batwolf. Yeah, we decided her name's Hex.
Oh yeah, I know. We decided. Is it a she?
Yeah, I think she's a she. I think she's a she now.
She is called Hex.
I meant to put her on my lap, but listen, I'm too warm. I'm
take your jacket off.
Sweating out. I could.
Okay.
Anyway, the Hex is here.
Let's get into it then.
Yeah, an hour in. Oh
50 minutes in.
Bloody hell, this is going to be a long one. Deepest apologies. I say that. All y'all like, 12-hour video when? Back to the old days, baby.
I can't.
So, yes, we are doing... What are we doing?
Horrible house rules.
We're doing horrible house rules.
We're doing horrible house rules.
As we always do when we start these videos, I would like to preface the name Horrible House Rules is just a name.
Just a name. Just and it gets the clicks. And if there might be some house brew rules... some homebrew house rules in here that we like and we agree with, and that's totally fine. And if you want to tell me on TikTok that I should change the name of the category, carry on, because that's just another comment on my TikTok.
But yes, if you use any of these rules, if you like any of these
and
rules,
they work at your table,
then I'm very happy for you.
Very good.
Please ignore anything we say about them, because we're just two idiots on the internet.
Just having a good time.
What works at your table might not work at ours, and vice versa.
Exactly.
So we just get into it.
Let's get into it.
This is a mixture of ones from the Reddit and submissions. I've done these so sporadically.
Who cares?
Who knows? So this is from the Reddit. So this is terrible, but also incredibly funny.
Okay.
Pretty simple. My DM, new to DMing, made us roll for literally everything because he just thought that's what D&D was.
Mm-hmm.
Go into a room, you have to roll for strength to open the door. And wisdom to know if you suddenly went blind or not.
Why would you suddenly go blind?
Yeah,
Do you just have to make death saving throws every second of the day just in case you have a random heart attack?
Like, I feel like, though, we've all been there. We've all done this. We all have asked for completely
irrelevant checks.
Totally. Just because, when you're like, oh, they want to roll the dice.
As a dungeon master, at the beginning of your DMing career, you will ask for rolls for the stupidest thing.
For nout. Yeah,
for
absolute
nothing. And, sometimes it can be funny to be like, go on, just roll. Just to see if somebody fails and it's really funny, something like that.
Yeah.
And, that can be fun, but most of the time, like, if you're like, I pick up this log and I put it on the table and it's the barbarian, and you're like, roll me your athletics, it's like, why?
Yeah, like, there's certain things you can just do. And, I do understand the DM being like, oh, well, they're at the door. And sometimes there's been doors that they've had to do X, Y, and Z for. Why should this be any different? And hey, I'm not saying I totally understand this. But would that be annoying? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like it's just a rite of passage.
I think every new DM will do this, and it's absolutely fine, and you will very much learn that lesson on your own very quickly when the barbarian tries to push a slab and somehow gets a natural 1, and then the wizard comes up and says, well, I'm going to try, and then rolls a natural 20, and then you're like, well, that shouldn't work. And then you begin to realize that we don't need to roll for...
Everything. That's just an experience thing.
It's just an experience
thing. That's just a funny one to open it up with.
Do we need to roll for everything?
No.
Is this a horrible house roll?
No.
Yes.
Oh, what? Rolling for everything?
Yes,
well, yeah. Obviously.
It's a bad habit that we will get out of eventually.
Yeah, exactly. That's just a fun one. A little fun. All right. Are we going to get into the stinkers?
Oh, was that just a nice little palate cleanser?
Yeah, that was just a nice little palate cleanser. That was just a nice little intro. The last one's a nice palate cleanser too.
Very good.
So, this is also from the Reddit.
Okay.
You have to use your action that turn to prepare your reaction. All because the DM didn't like the players using the shield spell against them. And then they edited it to say it's not just for actions, for reactions too, but specifically the shield spell. Not like, when this guy gets close, I want to hit him, so I'll hold my turn until then. But it's straight up, you can't reaction cast shield because you didn't prepare it with your action.
So, like, we have the shield spell because our AC is really bad as a spellcaster. and we only have 4 first level spells, yes, we can upcast it. But do we really want to be using 2nd, 3rd level, 4th level spells on shield?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But, like, the thing is here, there is a million other ways to get rid of your party's resources.
Totally.
That isn't making them use the action.
Like, this is so frustrating. Like, genuinely, if this was, like, obviously this person's saying they went through this would just be so frustrating. Imagine having to preempt if someone's going to try and hit you and someone's going to go above your AC, but enough that you could shield it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That takes some real foreplanning.
Yeah,
like
it's like a lot of people struggle to balance paladins.
Yeah,
and the reason is, if they get a crit and it's just a absolute nuclear amount of damage, they're like, how am I supposed to balance this?
Yeah.
And the way you balance it is, like, if you've got a combat that you want to be tough, then you need to find a way to burn some resources prior to that combat.
Yes, exactly.
And, if they then just hold on to all of their spell slots for the last one, then people are going to start losing hit points and maybe even going down in the prior combats. It's like this. It's like, if you're worrying about shield getting cast, you need to find a way to drain resources before the fight that really matters.
Yeah, and there's also part of me where it's like, I can imagine it is frustrating as the DM if someone's only exclusively using shield, right? But, I mean, like, that's the reason you have it. Like, you have it to cast it. And it's like, I mean, again, this is just me riffing here. But, if you're getting so wound up about someone using the shield spell, like, why? Like,
it's because you don't know the way around it. That's why you're getting upset.
Yeah, but it's also like, there's other things to hit.
There's also, just make them make a saving throw.
Yeah,
they can't cast shield on a saving throw.
Yeah, there's other ways to go about it, and it's like, are you just getting mad because you just don't like the shield spell? Like, because you don't like your players being able to circumnavigate you hitting them?
Yeah.
Like, if that's the case, like, maybe there's something more going on there. But look at me going too deep into this.
No, you're not going too deep into it. That's the crack. It's like, when it comes to horrible house rules, 99% of the time, there is a reason that the horrible house rule has been implemented, because you don't understand maybe, like, how to get around something without making a really shit. Like, that makes absorb elements completely redundant. That makes
opportunity
attacks completely redundant.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, people who took, let's just say marshals. Okay, let's just say marshals who have sentinel or want to take a opportunity attack. Did they also have to do it? Or is it just the people preparing spells?
If it was just the people preparing spells...
I know, that's even stinkier.
That's stupid.
Even stinkier.
And
but then imagine penalising the people...
Exactly.
That sucks.
All of it sucks. Like, if you're only saying to cast shield, you then have to use your action to be able to prepare a reaction.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the only case where people have to do that for a reaction, that feels terrible on that person and all other spellcasters who have shield. But if it's not, and any reaction uses your action, that's just terrible on everyone, just because you don't know how to balance the shield spell.
Agreed. Boo. Yeah, that's a bad one. That's a really bad one.
That's fucking dreadful.
There's so many other ways to be able to drain your...
Yeah, like there is so many ways to drain like resources, so people don't, or it's really costly to cast shield. It's like, I just cast shield, but I used a 3rd level spell to do it.
Yeah,
it's like, you might not have hit, but then on that next turn, they don't have that 3rd level spell to hit you with.
It's like similar, like, mental arithmetics, right? Like, I'm assuming the DMs put it in because they're like, do they want to sacrifice their action to make sure they can do this? Is this adding, like, an extra layer of thinking?
No.
Like, it's not. It's adding an extra layer of frustration for everyone. Adding the extra layer of thinking is draining them of their 1st level spells, so they have to upcast them.
Yes.
Yeah, that stinks.
Stinky.
Yeah, that really stinks.
Unbelievably stinky.
Boo! You smell.
You do smell.
I'm sorry. No, you don't.
Smelly.
Well,
you
smell like beef.
Do definitely smell like beef. This real smells like beef.
All right, this is a submission, and this has been sent in by Anon, and they go by he, she, they.
Thank you very much for your submission, Anon.
Thank you so much, Anon. So the rule is, okay, hear me out. What started as a joke settled in as a real rule, wherein if players want to do a wild off-the-rule thing, or if they want to contest a role asked for by the DM, they can say, okay, hear me out, and explain the thing that they want to do and the rule they want to bend, usually with a good narrative reason and often a trade-off. The most memorable occasion with this was when a PC went down in the mini campaign around the summer and the druid didn't have a diamond. The player asked to spend memories instead to power the spell and save the wizard who they had come to love like a son. The druid lost all of her memories of her home and family and an ability that she was tied to with the memory and was able to save the wizard. It makes it so the players really push themselves to think outside the box and makes for some beautiful narrative roleplay moments.
Very good.
I love that.
Very good.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, hear me out.
Okay, hear me out. Okay, hear me. And listen, we also do a similar version of this, right?
All the time.
And to be honest, it always starts with, okay.
But on our table, it's, I want to try something.
Yeah, I want to try something. And it's similar to this.
Yeah, and it always comes down to, it's not within the rules, but I want to try something. Is there a way that, and I always make it like tough to achieve.
Yes.
So if you do achieve it, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But you know, like there might be like some rolls or losing something like this. Like you've definitely lost enough narratively to bring somebody back to life that is also like
or at least get the chance to, yeah,
at least get the chance to bring somebody back to life. But then there's let's go on the mission to try and hunt down the Dreamweaver to get the druid's memories back.
And like, you know, I don't obviously know the druid's backstory here, but like there's a huge chance that was something really important to them, important to the player and to the character. I love that. And I feel like this falls into Rule of Cool a little bit, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
I remember Jake from XP to Level 3 always used this awesome Rule of Cool example. Somebody died at the end of the campaign, I think, or like near towards the end of the campaign, and the paladin turned to Jake and said, okay, how many levels in paladin do I have to lose to be able to bring my friend back to life? And they had to lose like 2 or 3 levels, so there were 2 or 3 levels behind the rest of the party. They did it for the friend, They did it for the friend, and it's just like, that's such an awesome, like, you've lost something big, and it has to be something big to bring somebody back to life. If you're like, I lose the flint in my pocket, then no one cares.
Yeah, you will have all seen the clip on TikTok where their name eludes me now, and we follow each other, and they are such an amazing play group, and the DM is wonderful. And one of the characters, Winnie, she failed a save to open this beast's mouth for something.
Yes.
And I don't know if it was the paladin, one of the players who was down. I will obviously link to this TikTok below.
It's so good.
They were like, can I expend a death saving throw to give her advantage on the roll? And that advantage, she succeeded with it, and it was, oh god, it was amazing. I've got goosebumps thinking about it.
It's so great.
It's a beautiful
the clip, and you see, and this is the thing. Like that moment plays out, and Winnie like rolls a natural 20 and like gets the thing from inside the creature's mouth or something and makes away, and then it cuts to the dungeon master, and this is what makes does not what makes a brilliant dungeon master, but it goes to the dungeon master, and at the end of the clip, the dungeon master goes, man, I love this game. And it's like, that's it. You just created that spectacular moment by slightly bending the rules and somebody giving up something. Like, you know, if that person then takes a melee hit, they're completely dead. So that's a huge risk.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. And that was a fantastic clip. And that's another Roman Empire of mine.
That's a Roman Empire of mine too.
Like,
I'm so sorry. I think about that so often. And it's at the end when the 2 players who are playing the characters get up and they give each other a little snuggle.
Hug, yeah.
Oh, it feels so good. What an amazing TikTok. Yeah. I'm so sorry. The name of them elude me, but they are an amazing actual play channel. So please check them out. Love that. Love that rule.
Unreal.
Thank you so much, Anon. That's
great rule.
That's an amazing rule.
Yeah. To give something up to bend the rules,
love that.
I think is so cool, because then it can just create another like different situations, and then that character that died feels like they owe even more to this person, and you're just creating like really interesting dynamics and extra stories that you can tell. I think it's great.
Completely agreed. And you know, I think there's people who completely disagree with that, and people are like, no, the rules are the rules. And the facts are the facts.
And when the cheese comes out, you gotta pay the tax.
The cheese tax. The cheese tax. You know what I mean? So
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I get it. I love that. That's great. Thank you, Anon.
Well done, Anon.
All right. God, I'm sweating. I have to take this off, actually.
Sweating.
I'm sweating. Oh, my God. All right.
We're cranking.
Okay, next one's from the Reddit. Invisibility is pretty much the biggest cause of dumb rules, usually which the DM thinks are correct. The worst I saw was in an online game. When a monster cast invisibility right in front of the party, the DM immediately removed their token from the map. The other players who knew this DM then started to have their characters dash around randomly in zigzags because the only way to find the invisible creature was to literally bump into it. Hilariously wrong and stupid. It was like an episode of Scooby-Doo on acid, but the DM was trying to maintain this tense, dark atmosphere of suspense the whole time.
It's right, what you're saying, that invisibility does cause a bunch of stupid things. It's like the wild shape rules. Like, it's written so poorly that in the book it's not very clear. To the point where like interpretation is all we've got.
Totally.
So I think, do you remember that one where we were like, this person was invisible, but the thing had keen senses? And it's just like interactions like that. So
everyone is going to have a completely different interpretation of this, I feel.
I have no problem with, as soon as something goes invisible, you removing their mini, because you technically can't see it anymore.
Yeah.
But it's like, did it use its movement to get there, take an attack, and then goes invisible or something like that? Because if that's the case, then it's probably going to still be there, because then we could cast Fairy Fire or like Detect Invisibility or See Invisibility, You know, so like, I don't think just at that point being like, right, go on, run around.
Yeah, the only way to find it is to bump into it. That doesn't seem right.
Like,
but I also feel like that could potentially, like, that's a feasible option. Though,
I mean, if you just sprint and run into it, fair enough.
That's a feasible option. Well, not feasible. It's an option. But you know, if that's the only option, that's quite bad. And I feel quite bad, because this person's like, I saw it in an online game, and the DM was trying to maintain. I don't want to speak to that.
Yeah, like, that's unfair. Like, everybody else might be enjoying the dark atmosphere because you didn't. That's not fair. But I think that, like, because you're invisible, first of all, doesn't mean you're silent.
Yes, indeed.
And also, if you attack in it, unless it's greater invisibility, if you attack anything,
you're going to come out of it anyway. Yeah, like, how long does it go?
People can just blast AoE spells and hope that they get in it and stuff like that. And like, again, there's things like Fairy Fire. There's things like you could like try and reach out with like telepathic and read something's mind, and then you would maybe get a direction or something.
Yeah,
you can be creative.
You can send, like,
you could like point and just send loads of messages. Yeah.
I think there's so many other ways around it. I don't necessarily.
I don't think this is a terrible. It's not that this is a terrible house rule. I think invisibility is just so like up to interpretation.
Totally,
that, like, you not liking the way that somebody rules it is no fucking surprise to anyone at all, because the way that I rule it, or maybe the way that you rule it,
absolutely,
will
it's all
piss
gonna be
somebody
different.
else off.
Yeah, totally. And I think the only way to find an invisible creature is to bump into it? Yes, that's stupid. That's stupid.
Yes.
Do I think it's a stupid option? Maybe, but it's an option.
Could be kind of funny.
The only one is stupid.
Yeah.
All right.
Next one. Invisibility is a little stinky.
Yeah, a little visibility.
D&D.
Invisibility is a tricky one.
It's
the same with charms, right? And when I say charm, I mean things like charm person, etc. Because
some people like
that's so up to interpretation.
View it more like
so
dominate,
very much so.
Some people like barely give it any value at all.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. This next one. This is submit number 9. We're not on number 9.
This is number 5.
Oh, I've shuffled them around. This is.
Give me your best Gollum, baby.
This is a submission, and this is from Chocha Sammy, and they go by any and all pronouns.
Chocha Sammy. I think there's actually. I think they gave us the actual pronunciation for this.
They did Chocha, because
is it Chocha?
We were going Seosia.
Yeah, Seosia.
Chocha
Sammy.
Thank you so much, Chocha.
What was Chocha Sammy's
any and all pronouns.
Any and all pronouns. Awesome.
Hi, Jack and Margaret. My homebrew rule is actually pretty simple. I don't know if it already exists, but I've just been calling it intelligence points. Every session, each player has a number of points equal to their intelligence modifier. Throughout the session, if they want to automatically know a fact, or succeed in intelligence, or some wisdom skill checks, they get to spend a point. They can also use these points to get clues during riddles/puzzles in the dungeon. Honestly, this is for those players who want to play a super intelligent wizard but aren't as smart in real life. And in brackets, I am in this category. I promise I'm not just dunking on my players. You and me both, Chocha.
Like, yeah. And it's also great for if you've got a party full of barbarians.
Yeah.
And a party full of like people who don't stack intelligence for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like every single one of my party, they never play intelligence-based classes and they never stack intelligence.
Never.
And they're all really stupid.
Yeah.
So it could be good to be like, instead of me being able to put in puzzles or riddles or like facts about the world and things like that, it's just like a currency to spend to just know those things, which I think is great.
However, equal to their intelligence modifier.
Yeah, you maybe just minimum of one.
Yeah, a minimum of one. You get like, you know how you have like your advantage, disadvantage, or your inspiration.
Yeah.
You get like one a turn. I think that's great because I think there is sometimes it's so frustrating. Well, no, it's like a pendulum, isn't it? Like it can be so frustrating not to get the information you're intentionally looking for.
Even for the dungeon master.
Oh yeah, I feel like especially for the dungeon master. Although there is some points to be made. Sometimes when you don't get that information, the reveals later down the line that were correspondent to that are bigger and better because you failed that save.
Or maybe they can fall a little flat because you didn't have the precursor.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
it's a fine line.
Like the thing is, and like I know that some of you may disagree with this because there's a lot of you, but like take Josh. Josh likes playing complicated classes.
Yes, he does.
He likes to like test himself. And
did we tell you that he played a wild magic sorcerer? Didn't get a wild magic surge.
I even
once.
bumped it from
you
1
bumped
to
it
5.
From 1 to 5.
And at the end, I was like, if you use your last spell slot, it'll just happen. And then he didn't get to use his last spell slot, so he was
then
just
got
like
blown up, didn't he?
And he was like, I basically didn't have a subclass. He used his advantage thing earlier in the session as well. So. Yeah. But yeah, so like Josh likes to play slightly more complicated classes, and he likes to like but he's like, I have literally no desire to ever play a wizard. And I'm like, why? And he's just like, just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah,
like, and I feel like there's a lot of people like that.
Same.
So then really, apart from Artificer, and then, you know, like rogues can for investigation and things like that. Like there's not as many intelligence-based classes as there are wisdom, as there are dexterity, as there are even charisma.
Yeah.
Like there's way more of everything. So it's very common to have a stupid
intelligence.
Party.
Totally. Yeah. Like I would never play a wizard. I would definitely play a blade singer now.
Yeah, because you're a big fan of Gish. You love Gishes, right?
I do love Gishes. I do.
Big Gish fan.
I do. Yeah, I do. So, but yeah, no, yeah. I love that. I think that's great. I think giving them the option to, even if it's just one per session for everyone, and you can all go. I think we should use it here.
Yeah, like I failed that. I think we should probably use it. I think
we should use it.
We need to know this fact about the dragon in the mountain.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's great. Thank you, Chocha. And I'm sorry that I literally pronounce your name as Sia.
We have failed you.
Oh God, I have.
Chocha,
we have failed you. Sorry. All right. This next one is from the Reddit, and it is simply: unconscious allies cannot consume potions of healing.
Why though?
Yeah, boo.
Like why?
Boo. Come on,
like,
healing in D&D is hard enough anyway.
You're not dead.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean because maybe your faculties aren't quite functioning exactly the same way.
Yeah. And I think we're getting caught up on the fact that it's like a liquid in a bottle with a potion of healing.
You can't purse your lips at
and
the cusp of the bottle.
Yeah.
Like,
show me. Oh.
Feed me the potion.
Nice.
I think it's shit personally.
Yeah,
I
do too.
I think it's shit because like it's already like when you're in that situation where people are down,
it's tough enough.
It's tough enough. And we don't need to be taking options away. But the thing is, I know that people do take options away. Like somebody, a DM that I had in the past took away when you went down and came back up, you got a point of exhaustion, and the reason was because healing word is too strong.
Was I there?
Yes, you
don't recall this at all.
You know which session it is though. It's the
yeah.
It's like, and it's like
the first time we'd played with strangers.
That's such a like extreme fix for a spell.
Yeah,
like the thing is, the amount of hit points you're getting from healing word, the amount of hit points you're going to get from even a like a greater healing potion.
Yeah,
you're probably not going to survive much longer when you get up.
Healing word is 1d4. What are you talking
1d4 plus
about?
your wisdom modifier.
Yeah, I understand it's got a 60 feet and it's a bonus action. I
it's a strong
completely
spell.
understand that. But 1d4, you're not going to survive through anything.
No, like
something breathes on you, you're dead again.
The whole thing is, it basically means if you get hit again, it's not going into your saving throws. That's what it means.
It's enough just to get you up and stable.
Like this is what I mean. I feel like we're making problems because we struggle to balance
the actual issue. Totally,
it's like we need to find a way around those fixes.
Yeah.
Because there's a million ways.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you don't have access to that knowledge and information, then of course you're going to do something like this. I agree. No, try and find it. But I understand how you can default to something like this because you don't think there's any other options. But there always is, by the way.
Yeah, and and that was the reason. The exhaustion rule was put in. There you go. There's my horrible house rule. When you get brought back up from unconscious, you gain a level of exhaustion.
Just wait.
Oh, great.
Just wait.
So I don't like that.
No, I don't like that either. And, let's say you don't have a party either that has healing or the healer is out of spells, etc. This completely takes away the ability for the people who don't have those options to be helpful in these situations.
Yeah, exactly like the barbarian's got a healing potion in the right next to the person.
And that's
like,
what a waste.
I can now not do anything.
What a waste. It feels terrible. Like I think, I understand getting caught up on the idea of it's a physical thing you have to consume, but you take that away, you take it into a spell. Of course you can cast spells on unconscious people.
You're trying to we're trying to make it too reality.
Yeah, too reality based.
Too real. Yeah. And like the thing is, potions of healing, like regular potions of healing, almost become like useless after like the first few sessions.
Completely irrelevant, yeah.
So it's like that's really all it's used for. Yeah. Is somebody who doesn't have a spell
someone.
Or somebody who doesn't want to use a spell can stabilize somebody and bring them back up.
Agreed. That stinks. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Stinky.
I don't like that at all.
Stinking.
I was gonna say something.
Go on, say it.
Oh,
out loud.
I'm so hungry.
You just had a bowl of cereal.
I know. I snaffled it though.
You didn't?
I did.
You weren't snaffling at all. I was like, can you please
I snaffled
hurry the fuck up?
I snaffled towards the end.
You didn't snaffle.
I ate so much food last night. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Look at me. Well, we went in being like, oh, we started 50 minutes. And now I'm like, I'm hungry. I ate so much food last night.
What did you eat?
I ate my spaghetti bolognese, but I ate a metric shit ton of it, by the way.
So yeah, like I in this house, I normally cook. But Margaret was too hungry last night and I was still busy doing some TikTok stuff. So she was like, I'm cooking
I'm going to cook my food.
And I was like, all right, awesome.
Made way too much pasta.
And like...
Made way too much.
She was like, it's watery and there's too much pasta.
I ate it though. When you're so full, you can feel it like up here. Oh God, I was so full. But it's depleted. Where does it go? I was full up to here, now it's depleted. I did.
You poop it out.
Yeah.
Your body takes the good stuff and then you poop the rest out.
Yeah, touche. Anyway, the next one.
The next one, number 7.
This is perfect. Good segue. If you are under half HP, you gain a point of exhaustion, and if you're under quarter, you gain another one, etc., etc.
You better be using new exhaustion rules.
I was gonna say, imagine this 5e exhaustion rules.
Nope.
What's 6 levels of exhaustion? You're dead. You're back. By the way, you're dead.
So if you go back up, do you lose that exhaustion? Like you have to, right? Because you'd be like, don't heal me.
Yeah. You have to.
Please don't heal me, because if you heal me above and then I take another one for dropping down.
Yeah, you have to. They have to.
Yeah.
Right?
They have to clear.
They have to.
But what's that? That's like a disadvantage on all skill checks and then...
and then disadvantage on attacks, half movement.
That's 3 though, isn't it? It's half movement at 2.
Is it half movement at 2? But that's crippling. Half movement.
In combat?
Oh my God. As a marshal? Ooh, that's absolutely crippling. Imagine if you're a marshal and you're smally. Imagine that half even more.
Yeah, with your 25 little legs.
Yeah, terrible.
Not 25 legs. 25 speed, little legs.
25 you're just a millipede. You're a centipede.
Giving it the Chetney.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Exhaustion. So disadvantage on ability checks and then speed halved at 2. If you go below quarter, probably when you're in the danger zone, maybe needing to flee. Tough shit, you got half speed.
Yes. Is someone going to carry you? You better hope so. That sucks.
That's dreadful.
That absolutely sucks. Like, that suggests to me either combat isn't that harrowing, like you don't really get to those points very often, or you're constantly in that state and your DM wants to like up the ante. And
you're just upping the ante in the wrong way, though.
Yeah, agreed.
It's just not the right way to up the ante. We can up the ante and make combat hard and scary and stuff like that without getting like. And I don't know if any of you feel this, but like in a D&D game, if you get a point of exhaustion, you almost feel like burdened.
Feels awful.
And that's what it's supposed to be. Like maybe like tough travel or something.
You push through the night to get to where you need to be because you're on a time crunch.
And like that's why I like the 5e ones better, because this like just getting the D10 and you can get to what?
Oh, the one D&D one's
the one
better.
D&D one's better, yeah. Like being able to get the D10 and just be like, I've got 1, 2, 3.
Totally.
And that's
far
what you
less
subtract
crippling.
from all of your rolls. That's
and
way better.
That means that you can implement exhaustion probably more often, and it doesn't feel like a burden.
It feels less bad, yeah.
Yeah, but there's still a consequence to the action that doesn't cripple you. Disadvantage on all your checks, awful. Half movement, awful.
Imagine if you're a rogue or a bard or something that makes like all the checks.
I know.
You're just basically useless.
I know. I hate that.
And so easily useless as well, dropping below half HP.
Hey, let's be honest. Even with one D&D exhaustion rules, this still
it's
sucks.
still bad, but it's
still
not
bad.
as bad.
Yeah, it's still bad. I want to know. The thing is,
why?
I want to know why. Yeah.
To know why.
I do. I want to know what the actual reason behind
when
it is.
When DMs put things like this in, I'm always like you have to be struggling to need to implement this.
Or you hate your players.
Or you hate your players, yeah. They're the two options. You're either struggling and you need to like disadvantage your players in certain ways, or you just hate them.
I do genuinely feel bad for DMs who feel like they've been pushed into this corner. Like that shield spell thing. Yeah. Potentially that DM felt like they were pushed into a corner with it.
Like talk to people.
Yeah,
and
true.
Find different ways around it. Don't make the game almost unplayable.
Totally. I do have empathy for them.
I do. Believe I do, but like.
But you give me a point of exhaustion, I'm not talking to you again.
You give me a point of exhaustion for hitting half health. I'm sorry, I'm leaving.
I'm out. All right, this next one, also from the Reddit. A DM created infected wounds. Each time we took a certain amount of damage, the infected wound could have really bad conditions and even get to the point of losing a limb. But they've spelt limb as limp.
Even losing a limb. My limp, it's cured.
To cure an infected wound, you would need a specific homebrew item that costs around 5 gold each. So basically, every combat had essentially a cost of 5 gold, unless you were a really sneaky rogue. And most of the times, we didn't even get rewards from looting or money from looting. The final catch. The amount of damage to get this wound was never clear. It was at the DM's discretion, and he would not tell you until you already had it.
Like, if you're going to implement something like this, it needs to be clear.
And there has to be set rules.
Your players need to know how to not get the wound, how to be able to, like, dodge the wound. But, like, I've taken 20 and it's 25. You need to get me out of here. We need to break attack of opportunity range and I need to run away.
Could someone say a list?
Yeah.
A table.
Margaret does like a list.
I do like a list. A table of the increments at which these wounds happen.
It's basically a grievous wound, isn't it?
Yeah. And like I'm not entirely opposed to grievous wounds, and I know people love grievous wounds, right? I'm not completely opposed to them. But if everyone agrees to it, if the rules around it are very clear, like when you hear something like this and they go, oh, it was at DM's discretion, it's like
loads of people use grievous wounds. Loads of people use like massive damage rules and things like that, and that's sort of what it is, isn't it? It's like you take this much damage, or you take this much damage in one go. Like something happens to your body, and that is a way of making the game realistic. And a lot of people actually like it.
Yep, a lot of people really like it.
But the thing is when you don't make it clear, and also making it like item specific. Like not being able to just like lesser restoration it off or something like that.
That's it. The only cure was a homebrew item that cost 5 gold.
Like the 5 gold's not even a lot, but it's like just maybe not being able to find the place to buy it.
Exactly. What if you're in the middle of nowhere?
What if you're in the middle of a dungeon?
Yeah. And what if you haven't stocked up on them? What if and again, I actually really don't like the idea of gold sinks, and I completely understand some spells have components that you have to buy, etc. I don't like the idea of gold sinks in this fashion though, where it's like each combat has like a gold cost.
Yeah. Like I don't really because you'd be buying healing potions and stuff like that. So I don't mind the gold cost, especially considering it's such a small amount. Well, relative to a normal game.
Yeah.
Like 5 gold isn't too bad, but if you get one every combat, that'd be annoying.
Maybe it's because I just hate capitalism in the real world.
But like, so I don't mind the idea.
Yeah, me
of this
too.
rule,
Yeah, me too. I don't mind the idea either.
When you are not being clear with your players on how to get it, how to like dodge it, I don't like it.
And the only way to get around it is to buy this item that you can't just access. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Just make it lesser restoration.
Yeah. What do you guys think about grievous wounds?
Loads of people do grievous wounds.
Do you like them? If you do have them, how do you get rid of them? Like, is it normally something like a lesser restoration or a long rest? Or...
Sometimes it's time. Sometimes it's permanent.
Yeah.
Some people like deal with that, and but it's different levels of like realism, isn't it? Because it's like some people like that's it, you live with it.
Yeah.
And some people are like it can be like healed away. Some people think it can be like less restoration away, rested away.
Yeah.
I think I don't like the idea of a grievous wound being permanent.
No, I don't
That
either.
would just fucking feel real bad.
Yeah, it would. I agree.
But
yeah, I don't mind the idea of it. But yeah, what do you guys do with grievous wounds if you use them? How do you remedy them? And are they permanent or what? I'd like to know.
I don't mind grievous wounds. Grievous wounds are fun.
Yeah, I'd like to know. All right, this next one from, I think, you know what? I think they're all from the Reddit after this point. Oh, no, they're not. I lied. So.
Everybody call Mig a liar.
What the hell? What the actual fuck? So, more annoying than a bad rule. The DM at my game insists that we keep journals and the characters remember anything we have written down, and they won't remind us of anything except the most obvious. But we were fine with this. Then the DM gets annoyed at how slow the gameplay got from us from constantly having to look through our notes to find things that happened sessions ago, but only an hour ago for our characters because they should know it. But we forgot, but then the DM refuses to remind us. So then he implemented a 1-minute cooldown timer for any action. So if we try to reference our notes, we lose turns from inaction. But if we just act without referencing our notes, we screw things up and any complaint gets met with, but I gave you plenty of clues last session. Are usually a hint from a conversation with a random NPC many sessions ago that we should have known, but were not given time to look up. Hello, we had to stop because someone was at the door.
Yes.
And now we got cups of tea.
And now we got a cup of tea because it's absolutely freezing.
And I had a baby bell.
So, talk about hating your own role. Talk about introducing a rule and being like, this is actually terrible, but instead of doing anything about it, you add more rules to try and get your rule to work.
Yeah. Like the thing, it ain't nothing wrong with saying that you made a bad call.
And look, the thing is, I get that it can slow down when people need to get into the books and stuff like that. But
of course,
that's
like
the
naturally.
case. Like, your players clearly are interested because they're taking notes, and they're clearly trying to figure things out because they're referencing the notes. If you know that they've got notes, why aren't you just telling them?
Yeah, no, agreed.
It's information that they already know. I don't like the whole, well, if you've forgotten, your player has. It's like, that's not true.
No, true. Yeah.
Because what happened, again, an hour ago could have happened 2 weeks ago for some people.
Truly. And, I'm aware that... Sorry, I'm fighting with this to put it back on.
Fighting for your life.
I am fighting for my life.
No.
I'm aware that things like keen mind exist for a reason, right? But you shouldn't have to rely on taking a feat to be able to recall anything. Look, your character's smarter than you. I mean, maybe.
Well, maybe. I don't know if every character is smarter.
But you know what I mean? Your character has lived these experiences, and you can't penalize the character because the player doesn't remember.
Yeah.
But then, to be fair, OP says we were fine with having to write things down. We were fine with keeping the journals, which great. But then to be you have 1 minute.
You have one.
Come on.
I don't.
Oh, no.
What's the issue with just telling your players what they already know?
Yeah.
I get keen mind, but keen mind can be used in very smart ways. Like, you don't forget people's faces. You just scan a book and you can take it in really quickly. Or you read that phrase and you'll never forget it. Yes. I understand that things like that maybe you wouldn't understand, but critical knowledge about the world. Critical knowledge about each other and players
about what's
and
happened
NPCs,
to you and what you've encountered.
Things that your character could never forget.
Yeah, exactly. The same as you. What were you
It's just
trying
a
to grab?
hair flying through.
I can see it, yeah.
I just if you make a bad rule, Just take it out.
It's okay to rescind it. It's okay to say, like, look, that was a bad call.
But,
look, that's annoying for everyone involved.
Yeah, especially me, and I'm clearly getting frustrated by it.
Or, like, be like, you know, you guys are okay with it, but, like, look, it's making my life really hard.
Yeah, the only person who hates this rule is the dungeon
DM,
master.
who's had to put more rules in.
Who's had to put more rules in to try and get the rule to work, but you're making the rule work even worse and even less because of this new rule.
Yeah, annoying. Yeah. I think that is painful for every single person involved, to be honest. And like, well done you for having a group of people who actually want to keep notes and want to be able to write things down, but don't penalize them for doing it.
And the thing is, this is a common thing for dungeon masters. They don't know how much to give away after they've already given it away, and it's sort of like
totally.
Because it's in a way we want like the reveal again, or something like that.
Yeah.
So we're like trying not to give out information because, oh my god, they might figure this thing out that I don't want them to figure out yet. It's like, look, if your players figure things out, that's awesome. They're thinking, they're taking in your information, they're like using the information to figure out other things in the world. Never punish them for that. Yeah,
I also think, like, you know, use a bit of critical thinking and think, okay, well, would their characters remember this? Would a normal functioning human being be able to remember this information? Yeah, probably. Then I'll give it to them.
Just give it to them.
And sometimes you can get caught, like, well, you said it perfectly. You can get caught up in your own mind of being like, how much do I tell them? Do I give it away? Am I spoiling the surprise? Am I railroading them? Am I giving too much? Like, am I spoiling the mystery? It's like, no, you're not.
And there's so many times where I've been like, make me a history check or make me an intelligence check, and then I've gone, sorry, you don't need to do that. You already know this information.
Yeah.
Like, it might take us a second to figure it out, but just letting them know.
Totally.
Even if you've asked for the roll, just be like, nah, I don't need a roll for this. They already know this. Why am I doing it? I'm just making it hard for no reason.
Yeah, totally.
Making a rule that you hate so much, you have to make another rule to try and make it work. It's just like, just get rid of the rule.
Yeah, I know.
Just get rid of the rule.
Completely agreed. Yeah, that is annoying. That's incredibly annoying.
Tell me you hate your own rules.
Boo. Okay, this next one. This is the last submission. The last submission. So this is
the last of the light.
The last of the light. So this has been sent in by MB, and he goes by he, him.
MB. Thank you very
MB.
much. Michael Borden.
My
Go on, babe. What are you about to say?
Nout, my bestie.
My bestie.
My bestie.
Cheers, bestie.
Hello, my name is MB, and I have submitted before, but I have this homebrew rule that I have been thinking about to improve healing in-game.
Okay. Ooh, and a homebrew rule that hasn't been implemented so far.
Yeah. Might not be perfect for all-around use, and it's still being worked on, but here it is. Healing when outside of combat / imminent danger will always be max dice. Example, in combat things are moving quick, so a healing spell done by a cleric, bard or paladin is a quick fix, so dice have to be rolled. And for potions, adrenaline is pumping and the body is on alert for danger, so potion not to be processed out instead of healing full.
Yes.
Outside of combat, a healer can take a look at the damage for 1 minute and put their spell to full effect on the same exact issue. A potion will be allowed to work through the resting body in a good amount of time to go right to the problem area, allowing for the full effect. I know this isn't much, but I think it works well if you're given that short bit of time between encounters in a dungeon or a BBEG's lair. And I may bring this to session 0 when I am ready to DM in the server.
Ooh, nice.
Congrats, MB.
So, this is a great role.
I love this.
This is a great
role. How many times, I think we've said it in this, like, healing in D&D is rough.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's rough. It's there's no way, unless you're given extra items, unless you're getting things like this. Rules as written healing is you either have to buy health potions, which, let's face it, are shit at higher levels, and the gold sink, and if you want to heal someone, you have to use your spell slots.
Yeah, and, so we've made a few fixes in my campaign for it. So the few things that we've done are bonus action portion is rolled, action portion is full. So outside of combat, you always get full healing from a healing portion. And also, in and out of combat, if you heal somebody with a healing spell or a healing ability or anything that regains hit points, you re-roll 1s and 2s on the dice.
Yes.
That's how we've done it. Because it makes like, there's nothing worse. The only thing that's worse than rolling shit on a healing spell is rolling double ones on a crit or something.
Which happens.
So, yeah, re-rolling 1s and 2s. I do that for crits and I do that for healing.
Yeah.
And action portion and bonus action portion, up to you.
Yeah. You know what? We completely forgot about this in the one shot because I took a potion outside of combat and I rolled for it and I got like a 3 and a 1.
I completely forgot as well. But,
so did I.
That happens.
That's a different situation. But yeah, what do you think about this rule?
Great, yeah. Like, I think the making like any... I like it because like it's not just like you use your action to heal somebody and they get full because it's outside of combat. It's like you take a minute.
Yeah, you take your time and you look over it.
I like the idea that the spell like is able to like take hold, and the reason in combat it doesn't take hold is because you can't like sit and let the body accept it in a way. I like it.
I like that. I like the flavor of it. I like the theming of it. My question to you is: would you allow us to do this?
No, because we've already got the other rule.
True.
We've already got the other rule that. And at the end of last campaign, felt like it really worked well.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, no, it did actually.
Re-rolling 1s and 2s. So
healing,
if you re-roll and it's another 1 to 2, it's like, man, like the gods just hate me.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
at least I had a chance to
rolling a double 1 and then being and then rolling it and getting like a 6 and a 7 and you're like, yes, like feels great.
True. It does feel good. It does.
I do like a re-roll on a 1 and a 2.
I also like a re-roll on a 1 and a 2.
I don't know why. I just like the great weapon fighting.
Yeah, it feels nice.
What's the feat that gives you it? Savage Attacker.
Yeah.
Feels great.
Feels really good.
Love anything.
Yeah. I think that's a wonderful rule, MB, and I absolutely think you should DM in the server, and I definitely think you should bring that to the session zero. See what people think.
Everybody look out for MB's campaign.
Yeah.
There's so many campaigns now. There's so many people like DMs like posting groups now.
There is, and it's definitely not an everyday thing, but it's like
it's
quite often we're getting
DMs
posting. Obviously players is like an everyday thing. But the amount of DMs, good on you for wanting to kind of push your boundaries a little bit. And,
cheers to all you DMs. Let's raise a glass.
Yeah.
Another.
Cheers.
I've got lemon and ginger.
I have Earl Grey. And you don't want to know how many sweeteners I have.
It's 6.
Jack, what the fuck?
Mig takes 6 sweeteners in her tea.
I've been betrayed.
Yeah.
I do. I take 6.
Bang.
Oh. Cheers to that. Can you hear this?
I think so.
Sorry to people who hate mouth noises.
Yeah, I won't do it.
I know there's many of you, and I've probably just killed you off.
Let's may need to put a little warning in there. I'll put a thing in so we can see.
Will I remember to do that?
45.
Who knows?
Ish mouth noise.
So, oh god, all the rest of these are from the Reddit, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 left. 5 left. So this next one is. You can only wild shape into an animal you've seen during this campaign, which is just the 5e druid.
So it's not house rule?
No, it's not house rule.
It's not house rule. It's just
it's just a rule.
It's just a rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we all know it's shit.
Yeah, sucks. Stinks.
It's shit.
Yeah,
and
stinks.
The thing is, right, if I think that rule can be taken to actually make a good rule, or like a good like homebrew mechanic. It's like, let's just say we're in an Arctic campaign or something like that, and when you turn into a bear or something, it's a polar bear, but it doesn't like act like a polar bear. It looks like a polar bear. It's an Arctic wolf. It's an elk or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
like a lot of flavor.
You can use it for flavor.
Yeah, totally.
And that's what I like about it. Like being like only animals you've seen. It's a jungle campaign. You're a gorilla or something like that. You're a tiger.
Mm-hmm.
Like panther, like all of these things like can be made to make it awesome, but at the same time, as long as they're not out of the realms of like possibility, like a bear or a wolf.
I know, and like we did this with my first druid Willow. I made a list. I made a list of all the animals I had seen, and a spreadsheet actually,
of course,
and I also made a separate tab of things I would like to see and things I would like to keep an eye out for. And you run into a situation here where it's like, oh, can I just turn into a cat and like stealth? And it's like, well, have you seen a cat? And it's like, I didn't write on the list I had, so no. And it's so
like,
frustrating.
You've seen a cat. You've seen a dog. You've seen a bird.
Yeah,
like,
it's so frustrating.
Like just flavor it however you want.
Yeah,
don't like those restrictions are pointless.
Yeah, and I get it. I understand that the different circles have different sets of animals you can pick from, which makes for like a more like varied experience from druid to druid. I understand that, but you could just do that with flavoring. And I think it helps to be like, oh well, no, yeah, you haven't seen the OP animal. Like you could make the argument being like the brown bear for a moon druid being like, oh no, you haven't seen a brown bear to stifle
power.
The power in the beginning.
And like, look, we get moon druids are powerful at the beginning. fair enough. As soon as it gets to level 5, it balances out. Like, and the thing is, it's not going to take you that long to get level 5.
But then you multi-class into barbarian, don't you?
Yeah, if you're crazy like you and want to make your DM's life extremely hard to balance. And become unkillable. But the thing is, the beauty of playing a druid and a lot of the fantasy of playing a druid comes from, there's this situation. What animal can I turn into to like get around it?
Completely.
It's like the wizard going, what spell can I look at and use here to like make this situation easier for us?
Yes, absolutely.
That's the fantasy of the druid.
Yeah.
What animal here could make it really awesome for me to do and overcome this obstacle? And like when we just stifle that, like as dungeon masters for our players, it just feels really bad. Like they're using a wild shape, which is a resource. They're thinking with their brain.
Out of the box,
They're using the brain box.
Yeah, they're using the brain cell.
And they're getting around situations. That's what we love.
Yeah, agreed. And you know what? I think the argument stands a little bit more when it comes to when you get your swimming speed. Being like, I turn into an octopus. And it's like,
but the thing is, how many people are being like, like in your backstory, are you going to be like,
I know,
I had this aquatic arc in my youth where I went, so it's just like, we saw a couple of aquatic beasts, man, like no one cares.
I know. Yeah, I do think that stinks. I think it stinks.
That rule is shit.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that 5e rule.
Yeah, I agree. Agreed. Some nice silence there.
Yeah. You got to give them a respite every now and then.
Yeah, from these whining voices. All right, this next one. This is also from the Reddit. I was going to say from D&D.
I mean,
what?
It do be from D&D, though.
Do be from D&D,
It might be from one of the other TTRPGs, but this one's from D&D.
This do be from D&D. You can say, I need healing, but you cannot directly say your health level, nor can you demand that another player heal you.
So, I agree that you should never demand that somebody heals you.
Oh, totally.
If the healer is going to heal you, they're going to heal you. If they're not, they're not. Like, if they want to do something else on their turn, like, you didn't pick the healer, so you don't get to decide when the heals are given out.
And, I think demanding healing, it's like the person playing the healer could have a bigger plan.
Bigger picture.
A bigger picture plan,
Maybe it would be better to just kill that thing instead of healing you now, because it's just going to be like a poof, 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 up and down.
Maybe it would be more beneficial for you to go down so they can focus on something else.
Maybe they're a grave cleric, so you're going to get full when you hit 0.
When you go down. Exactly. Like, you should never be demanding. You should never be demanding anything from anyone at your table.
Never be telling anybody else what to do on their turn.
True.
Especially the healer, who's taken it upon themselves to heal you out of their own choice.
Yeah. Say it with me. We took our healers in at night and we give them a kiss on the forehead.
We take care of our healers here in the Eldritch Podblast. And second of all, if you don't want to say what hit points you're on, that's fine. No,
I feel like this is
if you're saying you need healing, it's probably because you don't have that many hit points left.
Yeah, I feel like this is a really, really common thing.
We've had,
right?
This is like the third one, and people don't like the saying the number for the HP because, and I get it. I do get it. That's one thing that I do get. Like,
I get it too. I really do.
It's something that I don't do. Like, I'm happy to just say hit points, but if somebody was to do it, I don't care because I get that you don't want to make it your
especially when I'm not the healer. And it kind of it's in the same spectrum of secret death saves, right?
Say it again. Say it one more time for the people at the back.
Secret death saves.
Death saves.
It's in the same spectrum of that, right? Like, not saying the exact number you're on could potentially lead to a little bit more tension.
Yeah, well, it's with death saves. I think if you don't use secret death saves in your game, give it a go.
Yeah, try it, totally.
Because it will change when somebody goes down. When someone hits the deck and rolls a death save and nobody knows what it was, but just the dungeon master and the player know what it was.
I know.
It fucking, and everyone's like, we need to get them up now.
Yeah, feels good.
It's not like, they saved. We don't need to get them up this time because they're only going to take one melee hit and, we'll get them up before. It's like, it stops that metagaming.
Yeah.
And just the fucking tension.
And having to like scramble, like let's say the person with the healing spells goes down, it's having to scramble to be like, oh my God, what do we do here? How do we get them away from them?
And the moment where the thing that killed them or like took them down to 0 hit points goes before that person and they need to make a death save and there's not like, and they roll it in secret. And
I know.
Everyone looks back to the table and that person's like,
yeah. It's good. It's good. It's great.
Like
it's
the tension. The tension is just unbelievable.
If you like the like not saying your health, I would definitely recommend it. I would recommend it to all tables to try it. Totally.
I think that should be. I think that should be rules as written.
I think it should be rules as written too. Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, I love it that much. And again, though, I can see scenarios in which people would not enjoy this, and I completely understand that. But yeah, I say the number. I don't care. I'll say the number. I'm metagamey enough to be like, I'm on 13
5
hit points. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that doesn't matter to me. But
we have a mix. I feel like we have a mix at our table, and that's completely fine.
Our friend Jordan, every time he plays the healer in any game, because playing the healer is usually not the funnest.
Yes.
Because when we play in games like this, there's people who do lots of damage, and that's the one that most people like to be. A lot of people like to be tanks, but least is the healer. And Jordan always says, "Back for heals."
Yep, on my hands and knees
because
barking.
That's the power that the healer should have, because they're helping you out.
True. Agreed.
They're doing less damage, being less tanky, sacrificing their spells to keep you alive.
True.
So like, let's be nice to our
healers. So yeah, bitch, I'm gonna bark every time
and not tell them what to do.
Yeah, agreed. All right, this is the third to last. On Reddit, someone claimed nothing in the rules states that spell components, verbal, somatic, or material have to be done before the spell activates. For example, a fireball explodes and then the mage can say the verbal components after the explosion. Not sure what his goal was, but it definitely wasn't worth the 15 minutes I spent looking up rules of magic. And the thing is, right? Yeah, fair enough. It doesn't say when you have to do them. But
you've got 6 seconds and it's your action. So it's happening at the same time.
Yeah.
So that is just a pointless thing to say. That is go on.
I think it's a cheesy thing to say.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, go on.
It's cheesy because let's say you want to get a surprise round. Let's say you want to try and charm someone. Let's say you want to try and get an attack off. A lot of the tells are, you specifically are like, does it have a verbal component? And if it does, we have to then make a stealth check. Do you know what I mean? If you're using this person's logic, you could do the thing and then after the fact, go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also you've only got one action, and it's 6 seconds, so you can't. I feel like it's trying to be cheesy to say that I can get something else in after this.
Yeah, well, I'm speaking like out of combat. Really.
Yeah, the thing is, this is fucking just so stupid because that's just how the game works. Yeah. Spells have verbal components. Maybe it doesn't say that it comes. It's just like, but it's all one action.
And you can make the argument that you have to do these as a prerequisite to do the thing.
That's what it is.
Although to be fair, again, it doesn't explicitly say that.
It doesn't say it, but spells have a verbal and somatic component. You have 6 seconds. In that 6 seconds, you can do an action, a bonus action, a reaction, and movement.
Yeah.
In that action, you are seeing the spell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just it maybe doesn't say it, but you're just trying to find you're trying to find really shitty, stupid loopholes.
You're trying to be big brain and not really that big brain.
Yeah, your brain's pretty small.
Your
brain's pretty small. I'm saying it.
Yeah, go on.
How about this? Good tiny brain.
No.
Your brain's actually really small.
Brain rot. No brain. Yeah.
God, imagine dungeon mastering for that person.
I know. I feel like, again, this applies more to out of combat.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to charm someone or like etc. and being like, well, it's after the fact.
Well, the thing is,
to be like, if you're trying to charm someone and there's a verbal component, you could charm them. Then once they're charmed, be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it won't matter. And then you don't have to make a stealth check.
I mean, the thing is, if you got to the point where you say, I cast charm person, it's already too late.
Yeah.
If you move into the room and they haven't seen you and the words come out of your mouth, I cast charm person, they can't turn around and be like, haha, I see you. Because it's like, you got yourself into that point and said, I cast charm person before they realized you. So you're already in the point. But at the same time, when you cast charm person, you make the noise.
Yeah. But I think it's to circumnavigate, I've got into the room. I've got my eyes on the target. I cast charm person. And then you as a DM would be like, well, you have to make a stealth check if there's a verbal component to see if they get a chance to avoid it or something like that. Maybe charm person's a bad one because that's not a physical, visible thing, right? But if you're like, okay, yeah, I want to cast, I don't know. I can't think of a spell. Yeah, I want to cast I want to fireball this motherfucker.
There's 2 guards in the middle of the room and you sneak in and you got to the point and you go, I cast fireball. Yeah. At that point, it's already too late for the guards because they haven't seen you.
Yeah, but the thing is, you would still make us make a stealth check, though, at that point. There's been multiple times in the campaign where Josh has been like, I'm going to cast a Vortex Warp.
Yeah, but that's because he's still trying to stay hidden.
Yeah.
And the spell will not reveal him. So if Josh is being like, I cast Vortex Warp with the intention to, after this spell, still be hidden, then yeah, you make a stealth check.
But I also think the idea here circumnavigates the needing to be hidden, right? Because I think we're maybe on two different wavelengths.
Might be on two different wavelengths.
I think we're very much on two
explain
different wavelengths.
Explain to me. Talk to me.
Like, let's use Vortex Warp as the exact example, right?
Go on, yeah.
Like, he is being hidden and he's doing something sneaky. I don't know if there's a verbal component to it, right?
Vortex Warp. Yeah, let's just say there is.
He wants to do it sneakily.
Yeah.
You go, okay, make me a stealth check. If we're using his rules, he's going to go, well, actually, the verbal component comes after. So he could Vortex Warp them. And then once the deed is done, he doesn't need to be hidden anymore. But he wouldn't even need to be hidden because the deed is done. And then he says the verbal component out loud after the fact. Do you know what I mean? That's the cheesiness I'm talking about.
Yeah,
here.
okay, I get you. But then, so like, let's just say there was a situation in my campaign where you were basically trying to break two people out of a house that was surrounded by giants, and Josh and Matthew were on the outside.
Yes.
And I was saying, like, to me, when you cast Vortex Warp, you make noise.
You're
waving your hands in the air.
Yeah.
You're doing the incantation. You're speaking it out loud.
There is definitely like a somatic.
Yeah. There's unless you've got subtle spell. There's going to be some sort of
there's summit
motion,
going on.
action,
There's summit.
hand waviness.
Summit.
Like, casting a spell is a big thing, and I think a lot of people forget that. And that's why subtle spell is a thing.
Yeah.
So in that moment, if Josh is being like, I cast Vortex Swap to try and get them out, and let's just say he's trying to do it quietly, and he doesn't have a subtle spell, I will allow him to make a stealth check to get them out, so then nobody looks at where the spell is being cast from.
Yeah.
Like, if he fails that stealth check,
someone's going to notice.
Someone's going to look up to the direction and see Josh before he gets a chance to move away.
And what I'm saying is,
yeah,
this logic means, well, it doesn't matter because I'll just do all that stuff after the fact.
And that's not how the game works.
Yeah, like that's why it's so cheesy.
Yeah, that's why it's fucking stupid.
I don't see how it would work necessarily in combat.
But, like, the thing is, you're just, like, you don't even have to think about it because you're just making the game unnecessarily complicated, and that's also not how the spell works.
You're just trying to be cheesy,
like,
innit?
If you cast the spell, yeah, I get that. Let's just say it's at the beginning of the 6 seconds and I cast the spell. Yeah. And then I say the thing on the 6th second.
Yeah.
And I've got away. It's just like, you're just adding layers of complexity to the game.
For no reason at all.
First of all, is unfair on your dungeon master.
Very much
And
so.
second of all, it's just not how the game works.
Yeah.
Like, if you do something in that instant, that's being like, I smack this cup, but because I've got 6 seconds to smack this cup, I'm going to smack it, I'm going to run over there, and then it's going to hit the ground at the end. It's just like, that's not how it works.
Yeah. But I suppose by this person's logic it is, which is just annoying.
That's why your logic's fucking wrong.
Yeah, I think cheesy out of combat more so than anything.
Yeah. It's just pointless.
Yeah, agreed.
We're just making the game far harder and stupider than it needs to be.
God, we talked about that for so long.
Let's go.
All right, this is the penultimate.
The penultimate.
All right, this is the penultimate. This is the second last. So, you? If you have a seatbelt on, take it off.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you got your hands on the wheel, take them off.
Yeah, Brittany Broski.
Let Jesus take the wheel now, baby.
Yeah.
It's time for Jesus to take the wheel.
This one is simply meets it, doesn't beat it, and it's got a sad face.
Meet it, beat it, feels great.
Meets it, doesn't beat it. Boo.
It's just like moving the whole game like down one roll.
Yeah.
Like AC feels one worse. DC feels one worse. Like attack rolls feels one worse. So it's like your 7 becomes a 6.
Yeah,
your 17
totally.
becomes a 16. It just moves everything down one. And it's just like, if that's the same for the enemies, then I guess it doesn't actually matter at all.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you hear meet it, beat it, it does feel good.
Still feels bad though, doesn't it? Like regardless of if it works like both ways, it still feels bad. There's no joy quite like meets it, beats it.
It doesn't feel bad when you cast a spell and they roll a 16 and your spell save is 16 because then like meets it, doesn't beat it, so they fail the spell.
Is that what happens? Is that how it is?
Yeah, so if let's just say you cast Champ Person.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah.
And
sorry,
your spell saves DC is 16. I roll a 16. I meet it, I beat it.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, true.
So it feels in parts good and bad.
Yeah, once again, pendulum swings,
but you know,
takes.
it's like it doesn't matter which way you rule it, really.
Yeah.
But like the rules as written are is it meets it beats it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like
I wonder if people don't do it like that. I mean, obviously there will be people who don't do it like that, right?
probably.
I mean, as this person
like,
says.
Like the thing is, it doesn't really matter because it swings and roundabouts. Because like, yes, you might get hit a little bit more often, but you will in turn hit more often. You may fail spells, but things will fail against spells more often. So it's like,
I just like hearing the rhyme.
Meets it, beats
it, baby. I like it. I like it a lot.
Like, the thing is, I think it actually probably, if we really want to go deep here, it probably actually is worse for the party because you all always play together, and there are times where you fight one big monster.
Yes.
And if that monster will get less attacks than all of you put together will.
Yeah.
So if there's more attacks on the monster and meets it, beats it, doesn't hit,
then you're like,
it feels worse. Like, if you actually tot up all the times when meet it, beats it probably works, it's probably better for the party.
Yeah, agreed.
So.
Agreed. Yeah. What do you think? Meets it, doesn't beat it.
Doesn't beat it.
It doesn't beat it, my precious.
Meets it, doesn't beat it.
All right, this is the last one. Now, close your eyes and let the entity take you. I know that you are just eyes at this point, so close them.
Close them.
No game I ever run has gnomes. I hate gnomes. I despise them even. I have an unfathomable dislike for
Keep your eyes closed.
For those little troll doll looking motherfuckers. I usually just say they never existed, and to that I say amen and God bless.
And good night. Thank you. We've been the Podblast.
Yep. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
Everybody knows that Margaret hates mollies.
Hates them.
In particular, which one do you hate more, gnomes or
dwarves?
Is it dwarves?
Yep. Dwarves.
Why? Is it the mountains?
We've had this conversation. Yeah. It's the mountain dwelling.
The mountain dwelling.
It's the mountain dwelling.
Within the mountains.
At least gnomes are innovative. You know, in canon, like the stereotypical lore.
Yeah.
At least gnomes are innovative. Dwarves just dig.
They just dig. That's all they do. They dig.
I'm not into that.
They've never done anything else.
Dig and
they
smelt.
If you play a dwarf, you better be digging.
You better be on your hands and knees digging.
You better be
my
digging.
My friend. Yeah,
your grave, because Margaret's going to come and glock you.
Boing.
Badoink.
I'm going to spoink your boink.
Spoinky badoinky.
Spoinky badoinky. Yeah, I can't get down with dwarves. I can't get first of all, I can't get down with gnomes either.
But you can get down with halflings.
Yeah. Because of Samwise Gamgee, and that's why. And that's all.
Because
Samwise,
of our Lord and Savior Samwise.
Yeah, Samwise has literally saved a whole race.
Look, I don't want to say that Samwise is literally the MVP of Lord of the Rings.
He is the MVP
really,
of Lord of the Rings.
Who else is the MVP?
He is the MVP of Lord
of the Rings.
Yeah, I love
Samwise Gamgee is... He doesn't just carry the ring, he carries the ring and Frodo.
Exactly.
He maybe cannot bear the
weight. I can't carry the ring, but
I can carry you! Strawberries and cream, Mr. Frodo.
Okay, stop now, because I'm
anyway.
Gonna cry.
Anyway.
Yeah. Genuinely, though, I don't think a DM should be banning races. Listen, I don't think a DM should be banning races.
Are you saying this because you feel like you have to?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Because I know one of you is going to take what I've said intentionally with bad faith. And I know one of you is going to be like, oh, well, I thought you said that you're being racist towards gnomes and dwarves, to which I say, yeah. And, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah.
www.eldritchpodblast.com.
.co.uk.
Feels like I haven't done that in a long time.
I just feel like you haven't done that in a long time.
www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk. Go and pick up some merch. Logo with the backprint squaddy bees. The heavy metal t-shirt. Go and pick it up. It's a fantastic Christmas gift.
We must work on
new designs. We must.
We don't have a lot of time right now, but we will try.
If you don't want to pick anything up from there, go to our Etsy shop. Go and pick up some mugs, spell cards, personalized notebooks, t-shirts, all of your D&D.
I'm wearing an Eldritch Blast t-shirt.
Eldritch Blast t-shirt, Rage t-shirt, Magic Missile, whatever you want. Get over there. Go and pick it up. Code Podblast will get you 10% off at a discount. Join the Discord if you haven't. Enter the Homebrew Challenge if you haven't. Like the video. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell to be notified when we upload a video on a Monday and a Thursday.
Let us know what you think of these rules.
Yeah, let us know what you think of these rules down in the comments.
Do you use any of them?
I'm not going to ask for comments, but if I don't get enough...
And tell me what you're eating.
It's going to be squonking badonking time.
Squonking.
I'm going to mig you.
God's sake. Right, get out of here.
I've been Jack. I love you very much.
I love you.
Bully loves you. We've been the Eldritch Podblast, and we're going to see you on Thursday. Bye.